Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. People in Marvel. My talent can be infinitely enhanced. Chapter 41. Hearing Wang Yang's humble words, Modu seemed very satisfied, nodded and said, "Very well, as a mage, you should have such a humble character. No matter who you study with in the future, remember this." Mordo said with a smile. Hearing what Moduruo was referring to, Wang Yang couldn't help but be a little puzzled. Wang also said at this time, "Wang Yang, your talent is outstanding. We teach you, but it will only waste your talent. In the future, when Grand Master Mordu teaches you, you should be able to exert your talent better." Wang also showed a reluctant expression at this time, but he couldn't be more happy in his heart. Teaching Wang Yang, this student, was really a blow to him. Moreover, when teaching Wang Yang, he had to worry about whether he would teach wrong. This kind of feeling is not good, and Mordo can also breathe a sigh of relief if he accepts him. In fact, whether it is Cassius before or Mordo now, it is a good thing for Wang. He finally didn't have to worry about teaching Wang Yang. Wang Yang doesn't have any ideas, and it doesn't matter who he learns from, as long as he can teach him to learn magic. Follow the arrangements of the Archmage. Hearing Wang Yang's agreement, not only Wang was very happy, but Hamel was also very happy. Finally, someone could understand his feelings. On the contrary, Kamito looked at Mordo in a complicated way, and seemed to contain complicated emotions. Mordo naturally felt it too, looked at Kamito in doubt and said, "Master Kamito, do you have anything to say to me?" "Master Mordo, I didn't want to say anything." Kamito sighed involuntarily. "Then what's your expression like?" Mordo thought it was a bit weird. He felt that Kamito's eyes made him very uncomfortable. Kamito shook his head. "I'm just thinking about things." In fact, he was a little worried that Modu would also be fooled by Wang Yang's talent, and his mentality collapsed. Anyone who has achieved a little bit will collapse when they encounter such a genius, even Mordo is no exception. "Master Kamito, I think you think my teaching is not good." Mordo didn't care, he laughed and continued. "Master Modu, I really don't mean that, it's just that Wang Yang is a genius." Kamito reminded that Wang Yang was not able to escape completely from any archmage. But after hearing Kamito's words, Mordo smiled and said, "Genius. My Mordo can only teach disciples with powerful talents. He doesn't want to teach a wizard who is not very talented." Mordo said. Kamito glanced at him, sighed lightly. Moro is too confident. Maybe Moro is stronger than him, but he has never seen a few geniuses. Is he worried about Wang Yang? He was just worried about whether Mordo would be stimulated. But as the saying goes, it's hard to persuade a ghost who seeks death. So he was too lazy to say more. "I believe that Master Mordu can definitely teach Wang Yang." Kamito was too lazy to say more. After a few perfunctory sentences, everyone began to discuss. "Wait until this discussion is over." Everyone just left. "Okay, come with me." After waiting for everyone to leave, Modu stood up and walked towards the training ground. "Wang Yang, since so many great mages say you are talented, I also believe you are talented, but I hope you don't let your talent down. The process of learning magic is very boring, and it will not be easy. It all requires your perseverance. Do you understand?" As Mordo walked, he taught Wang Yang to speak. "Thank you Master Mordu for your guidance." Wang Yang heard Modu's advice and hurriedly said. Modu was very satisfied with Wang Yang's attitude and said, "Very good, keep this attitude, you will definitely achieve great achievements." Mordo nodded and then asked, "Tell me, what magic have you learned? I can teach you according to your aptitude." As a disciple of the Ancient One, he naturally has something unique. He is very good at teaching his apprentices. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given Dr. Strange to Mordo on purpose. Now facing Wang Yang, although I heard that Wang Yang's talent is very good, he is also very confident that he can teach this disciple well. Hearing that Mordo wanted to teach him magic, Wang Yang couldn't help but be shocked, and quickly said, "Report to Mage Mordo, I have learned the basic structure of magic shields and magic runes." At the moment, Wang Yang began to slowly talk about his magic, and Mordo didn't care at first. But listening to Wang Yang talk more and more, the more he listened, the more restless he became. The expression on his face was extremely shocked and amazed. The previous magic was fine, but it was just normal basic magic. It's just that even Waishandi's sacred sword came out at the back. This is high-level magic. There aren't many archmage acquaintances. Wang Yang seemed to have nothing. Stop, how did you learn all these magics? These are not things that an apprentice can learn, and it is impossible for an apprentice to learn it. In the beginning, Modu thought Wang Yang was just an ordinary genius, but now he looks like a monster. He had never seen an apprentice who could learn so much magic. Reading. As for speaking, he didn't think Wang Yang would speak easily, and several other great masters also said that Wang Yang was a genius, which was enough to prove it. I originally planned to teach you from the basics, but now it seems that this is completely unnecessary. Mordo said. This made him a little sad. After all, the best way to teach a disciple is to start from scratch. Only in this way can you fully understand a person. Now that Wang Yang has even learned advanced magic, it seems that he can only start teaching from advanced magic. Since you have a good grasp of basic magic and are relatively solid, I will teach you a high-level magic. This is the magic that our senior Taj masters can master, the Scarlet Chain. Mordo said slowly. Wang Yang's eyes lit up. Scarlet chains are powerful, but not very useful. Because there is no chance to use it at all. If the Supreme Mage makes a move, any problem can be solved. As for other mages, naturally they don't need it. However, although it is possible to learn new magic, compared to learning Waishandi's sacred sword, it really makes Wang Yang a little less energetic. What's your expression like? Although this magic is not very useful, it is also a veritable high-level magic. It's very useful for you. Modu smiled bitterly, and then began to demonstrate to Wang Yang. With the magic formula in his mouth, he pulled his hands, and a red chain appeared in his hands. Ding! Detected the talent fragment of the magic scarlet chain, whether it is fused. Modu explained slowly. His explanation speed was not fast, but compared to Wang and others, it was still not bad at all, and it was more accurate, so Wang Yang quickly understood the meaning. Especially after incorporating the magical talent, his understanding of the scarlet chain became much deeper. Modu looked at Wang Yang with a serious expression, as if he was thinking seriously, and a smile appeared on the corner of Modu's mouth. From Modu's point of view, it is obvious that Wang Yang has some feelings for this magic, otherwise, he would not have made such an expression. He has also met many slightly talented people, but even the most talented students will have some problems, especially at the beginning of their studies. Even he is no exception. Maybe Wang Yang's talent is good, but that is also in other magic talents, and this magic may not be easy to learn. This is the complexity of magic. Wang Yang, don't be too hasty. Although the scarlet chain is a high-level magic, it should be understood slowly with your talent. Don't be too anxious. Most high-level magic requires the help of the power of the gods. The power of the gods also represents the choice of the gods. How can the choices of the gods be easily used by people? Therefore, some people are very easy to cast high-level magic, and some people are more difficult. Some people are relatively easy to cast this high-level magic, while another high-level magic is more difficult and possible. Mordo is well informed, and naturally he has long understood this kind of thing. So all he needs to do is comfort Wang Yang well. Since Wang Yang can practice other magics, and he can even master the sacred sword of Emperor Waishan, it goes without saying that his talent will be dealt a blow if he cannot master the scarlet chain. This is undoubtedly a loss for Taj. So he wanted to comfort Wang Yang well, hoping that Wang Yang would not give up on himself. Just when he was about to comfort Wang Yang, he saw a shy smile on Wang Yang's face. Master Mordo, I may have mastered this magic. What? Modu was surprised. Just now, he thought that Wang Yang couldn't master this magic at all. How could he master it in a blink of an eye? I'll give it a try. If there is any problem with magic, I hope Master Mordo can give me some pointers. Wang Yang nodded, and then began to mutter something in his mouth. Then he put his hands together, and then pulled to the sides. A red chain appeared in his hands. When Mordo saw this scene, his eyes widened. It's only a few minutes. The boy in front of him has already learned this magic. Isn't this advanced magic? Doesn't this require the help of the power of the gods? How can an apprentice be easily borrowed? Did the gods lose face? Why was Wang Yang able to master it so quickly? This is obviously impossible. Mordo has never seen anyone who can learn the magic of scarlet chains so quickly. And the Supreme Master had told him before. Viratok is not a generous god, the scarlet chains are difficult to grasp. You can master the scarlet chain in 1 year, you are already very talented. He can still remember the Supreme Mage's admiration. And when the Supreme Mage said this, he was smiling, and he was really appreciating his talent. So he also felt that he was very talented. After that, he also saw many mages learn the scarlet chain, but no one could surpass him in terms of learning time, that is, there were not many people who were similar to him. But now Wang Yang has learned it in such a short period of time. If he is a genius if he learns the scarlet chain in 1 year, then what is Wang Yang? The gap between this person and the person is too great. Or is it that scarlet chains are so easy to learn? Is Viratok such a generous god? Just when Moro fell into self-doubt, Wang Yang actually began to have some doubts. According to the archmages, these high-level magics all come from gods, but there is no feeling of gaining the power of gods. He all obtained the talent fragments of the archmages, and then he could summon magic according to the experience of the archmages. So his magic seems to come from the gods, but it doesn't seem to be. But no matter what, there is no doubt that he can easily learn magic. At this moment, a loud noise came from outside. What happened? Wang Yang turned to look outside. The scarlet chain in his hand has also disappeared. Mordo also frowned and walked in the direction of the riot. Master Mordo, then I'll go back first. Wang Yang knew something must have happened, but as his apprentice, he naturally couldn't participate in it. No, you come with me. Modu glanced at Wang Yang. Wang Yang had already learned advanced magic. Even if something happened, he still had the power to take charge of himself, which was much more useful than most of the senior mages. Yes, Master Mordo. Wang Yang followed Modu and saw Wang after a while. King, what's going on? Hamake is back, and he brought bad news. There was a big war in New York, and countless Zeta-Rians invaded the Earth. Wang frowned and said, You reading. What? Mordo frowned. He didn't expect that Archmage Cassius betrayed not long ago, but this accident happened again. Hamakit has been fighting alien creatures or exotic demons in outer space, and now bringing this news is obviously an emergency. He is waiting for us in the main hall. Wang glanced at Wang Yang who followed behind Modu, but there was no surprise on his face. Presumably Mordo had already experienced this apprentice's talent. Go. Mordo nodded. The three of them walked towards the main hall together. A moment later, in the main hall, Wang Yang saw a mage wearing a trench coat. Hamake, what happened? Although they all knew that there was an invasion by the Zetarians, no one knew what was going on. With blood still remaining on Hamake's face, he raised his hand and waved. A light curtain appeared in front of everyone. It was in New York. A huge portal opened over New York, like a huge black hole. At this time, countless people exclaimed in surprise. Countless black dots appeared in the black hole, and then fell all together. Seeing this scene, the archmage present couldn't help being silent. They didn't expect such a scene. But Wang Yang couldn't help but be surprised when he saw this scene. Isn't this the story of Loki opening the portal and bringing the Avengers of the Zeta Rising? It seems that Thanos hasn't come yet, but it will be soon. Wang Yang felt that time was running out. Thanos snaps his fingers, and he may disappear too. Wang Yang frowned and continued to read. A golden and red figure flew into the sky against the sky, and countless missiles flew out of his armor. Hit countless falling Zetaris. However, the number of these Zetarians is simply too many, almost endless. The gold and red Iron Man shot down the Chitauri as a drop in the bucket. A large number of black shadows poured out of the black hole, and then scattered towards New York. The terrifying roar and explosion sounded at this moment. As soon as the Chitarians landed, they started their devastating attack. Explosions, collisions, screams, one after another. All of a sudden, the once bustling New York was flooded. Whoosh whoosh. The sound of various laser cannons sounded, and every time they landed, a huge explosion sounded. Brought countless casualties. Ordinary people have no resistance at all in front of the Zetarians. At this moment, New York seems to have become a purgatory on Earth. Boom! A fire burst into the sky. A flying Zetaris vehicle exploded directly. A golden and red figure shot out from the flames. Iron Man's hands kept firing energy cannons, knocking down the surrounding Zeta Rising people. In addition, with the help of powerful mobility, some of the surrounding Zeta Rising people slammed into the tall buildings without rushing. Stark, we're in your 3 o'clock direction. At this moment, a voice came, the voice of Black Widow. Where have you been? Did you go shopping for takeout? Tony made a joke and then said, go to Park Street, I'll lead them over there and be a target for you. However, after hearing the voices of his teammates, Tony Stark breathed a sigh of relief. With his current strength, he could not prevent this disaster at all. Especially now that countless alien troops are constantly pouring into New York from the sky. Even a group of natives, he is not easy to kill in the face of so many, let alone these aliens with high-tech weapons. After Tony took them around in a circle, they flew to Park Street. Bang bang bang. After a violent explosion, the Zeta-Rians of this team were directly wiped out. However, even so, there is still a lot above the sky. Sir, we have more enemies. Jarvis, the artificial intelligence of Tony's armor, reminded him. Okay, let's go meet them. At this time, Hawkeye also saw Thor, who was fighting Loki on the mansion. Without waiting for Hawkeye's fighter jet to fire, Loki pointed at the scepter in his hand. A powerful light shot up into the sky and hit the fighter engine where Hawkeye was located. The fighter plane was damaged, and Hawkeye had to make a forced landing on the ground. Captain America, Hawkeye, and Black Widow walked out of the cabin together. Just at this time, a huge shadow appeared on the huge portal above the sky. 100 meters, a huge warship like a whale flew out of it. And then passed over their heads. Along the way, Zeta Rising people rushed out of it and rushed into the nearby buildings. Captain America held down the communicator and said, did Tony see that? I saw it, but I'm still digesting it. Did Banner appear? Captain America, Banner, tell me when he arrives. Iron Man surrounded the huge flying machine and said, Jarvis, find his weakness. Countless civilians on the ground are in danger. Captain America, Hawkeye, and Black Widow are constantly fighting the Chitauri to rescue civilians. Thor, the god of thunder, fell to help out at this time. Captain America arranges how to deal with this scene. At this moment, Banner came over on a small motorcycle. Tony, he's here. Banner, that's right. Then let him be armed, and I'll bring a good show over here. People still don't understand. At this time, Black Widow also saw the silhouette of flying Tony Stark. And behind him, a huge alien battleship followed Stark. In an instant, a huge building was cut in half. I don't think this is a good show. Black Widow smiled wryly. Banner turned his head to look at the huge monster rushing towards him. Captain America. Dr. Banner, you better get angry now. Banner turned his head and smiled. That's my trick, Captain. I've always been angry. As he finished speaking, Dr. Banner's skin turned green, and his clothes shattered due to the swelling of his body. In an instant, he turned into a 3-meter-tall green giant. At this time, Dr. Banner, who became the Hulk, punched him out. Bang! Hulk stopped the huge alien battleship with one punch. Because of inertia, the tail of the huge alien battleship was directly lifted up. Hold on, Iron Man said something, then raised his hand to shoot a missile. Boom! The alien warship was blown to pieces. The Avengers were relieved to see this scene. However, in the surrounding buildings, countless Chitaurians were ready to go, showing their weapons. Above the sky, in the portal, more Chitaurians are emerging from it. More huge alien warships also rushed out of it. Seeing this scene, even the Avengers were extremely heavy. Look, Black Widow frowned and said, Captain, give the order. Quote. Stark also frowned. Captain America looked at this scene and said, okay, listen up. Before closing the portal, find a way to control the situation. Barton, I want you to go up to that roof. Observe the battlefield and report the enemy's movement. Stark, you guard the blockade, don't let these monsters throw 3 blocks. If you can't stop it, you will be smashed. Will you give me a ride? Hearing Captain America's arrangement, Hawkeye looked at Iron Man and said, okay, hurry up, Legolas. Then Iron Man took the eagle eye to the sky. Captain America's arrangement was not over yet. He looked at Thor and said, Thor, you have to find a way to block the portal and slow down their speed. You summon lightning to kill these monsters. Thor nodded, waved the Thor hammer in his hand, and flew into the sky. Captain America looked at Black Widow and said, "You and I, we will hold the ground and contain the troops." Finally, he looked at Hulk and said, "Hulk." The Hulk turned to look at Captain America. Captain America pointed to it and said, "Smash it hard." The Hulk smiled evilly and rose into the sky. But even though Captain America issued so many orders, there are too many aliens. Even if they intercepted it, they couldn't cover everything. They couldn't take care of the whole New York, more than 1,000 kilometers away. Where there are no Avengers, ordinary people can only despair and wait for death to come. Looking at this scene, the expressions of several archmages couldn't help but become solemn. This is the Zateris. These locusts of the universe dare to invade our Earth. It's abominable. If the Supreme Mage comes back, they will not dare to do so. Quote. With the arrival of the Great Master Kamatage, seeing this scene, they couldn't help but show anger on their faces. They were shocked by the news that Hamake brought. You must know that the footprints of mages are all over the Earth. Even if there are mages outside the universe, it is natural to know the most famous cosmic hooligans in these universes. Mordo took a dignified look at Hamake, then looked at the people in front of him and said, "Now everyone sees how serious the situation is. Kamatage needs to go into battle immediately." Agree. Quote. Mordo nodded. Very good. We need to let the mages enter the battlefield through the New York Temple in batches. Open up a mirror space. We need to fix the battlefield on our territory and destroy these Chitauri on Earth. Let them understand that the Earth cannot be easily invaded. Yes, Mage Mordo. The surrounding archmages also said in unison. Several archmages looked serious, with solemn expressions on their faces. Then Modu turned his head to look at Wang Yang and said, "Wang Yang, this is a rare opportunity, you should follow along too, it's time to see the real battlefield. Our Kamatage mages never need flowers in a greenhouse." Hearing the words of Master Modu, Wang Yang quickly nodded and said, "Yes." Wang Yang also nodded seriously in response. Then, the entire Kamatage began to mobilize. Countless mages gathered in the clearing of Kamatage. A senior mage leads more than 10 trainee mages. An archmage leads a dozen senior mages. Countless teams are formed like this. These are the strengths that the Ancient One has cultivated for many years. Not only that, the mages who were originally outside also returned one after another, and they were originally stationed in the outer space. Now they are all assembled, and dozens of mages joined forces to cast spells. A huge golden portal was opened directly by them. "Masters, let's go. Defend Earth peace." Mordo did not hesitate at all. A large number of mages entered the portal directly, passed through the New York Temple, and then entered the battlefield to open up a mirror space so as not to affect civilians. As a result, no one found out that anyone had joined the war. Some Chitauri ride flying machines, and they disappear when they fly. Even some huge battleships were the same, and they just disappeared in midair abruptly. This scene may be abnormal, but in such a chaotic battlefield, and with the cover of magic, no one has discovered it at all. Even above the sky, a golden yellow portal was opened, and a large number of Chitaurians were pulled into the mirror space by the mages before they entered the Earth. In the Battle of the Avengers, all felt the pressure plummet. However, there are still many Chitauri. Even most of them were pulled into the mirror space by the mages. But even so, the remaining Chitauri can still put a lot of pressure on the Avengers. At this moment, countless mages in the mirror space are forming formations to destroy these Chitauri. The dazzling golden light almost illuminated the entire mirrored space. The fighting power of the mages is very strong. The Chitauri weapons don't do much damage to mages. Even an ordinary mage can deal with a few Chitauri. However, the Chitauri are simply too many. You must know that there are tens of thousands of Kamatage's mages. It is already a great force on Earth. But the Chitaurians are dozens of times as many as mages. The densely packed aircraft almost filled the entire sky. Fortunately, this is in the mirror space. With the advantage of magic, a large number of mages use the mirror space to divide these Chitaurians. Mage can also use all kinds of magic, and it can be regarded as a stable battle line for the time being. Of course, even so, mages are still injured from time to time. No, we need support, Someone is injured. The mirror space cannot be maintained. Quote. At this time, there will be a mage from time to time issuing the situation at this time. As the archmage who is coordinating at the rear, it is not unreasonable. The situation is chaotic and coordination is not easy. Hamel couldn't help cursing. These Chittoris, where did they get so many war weapons? This time, the whole team went into battle. Hamel's battles are not outstanding, and as an archmage, he can be used as a logistics coordinator. The Chitarians have also destroyed a lot of civilization over the years. Wang frowned and said, destroying civilization has brought them a lot of resources. It's no surprise to make these weapons of war. We can only implement Plan B, let the mages on the front line take a break and let the mages in preparation stand on top. Hamel, now is not the time to hide and tuck. Isn't your academic school still studying some large-scale fusion magic? Now, why don't you wait? Wang said solemnly. Okay. Hamel nodded. Wang's face was a little unsightly, although they joined the war and reduced the extensive damage to New York. But if this goes on, the mages will still suffer heavy losses. Now in real space, the Avengers are also fighting. A large part of the Chittori in the center are contained within 3 blocks. However, a small number of Chittoris escaped 3 blocks. Of course, it will be pulled into the mirror space by the mage. At the same time, some troops also entered New York to start fighting. It's just that this is New York after all. The army does not dare to use weapons of mass destruction. It can only help evacuate civilians and let them enter the underground subway system to escape. The pressure is all on the Avengers. Even a large number of Chittoris were pulled into the mirror space. But there are still countless Chittoris in New York. There are only a few key Avengers. Even if they have strong fighting skills, they can't exert much power in the face of the endless Chitarians. Only Thor unleashed a powerful thunder and lightning force in the sky, smashing the countless Chitarians who rushed into the earth. A large number of Chittori wreckage fell, forming a debris in the Stark building. Even so, the use of thunder and lightning in this way is a huge drain on Thor. He could only give up and attack those Chitarians who entered the earth. The same is true for the Hulk, clearing the building of a large number of Chittoris. Even jumped directly on the alien battleship and started to wreak havoc. The Chittoris on the battleship fought back desperately. The scene was chaotic. Huge alien warships are constantly destroying surrounding buildings. Hulk violently tore off a piece of the battleship's fin, and then inserted it directly into the body of the alien battleship. Thor raised his hammer, and a large amount of thunder and lightning condensed in the sky, and slashed directly into the body of the huge alien battleship along the fins. Boom! This huge alien warship completely lost its strength and crashed downwards. Boom! The huge alien battleship fell to the ground, smashing a building directly. And in the distance more warships galloped in the sky. No, Thor said helplessly, but the next moment, Hulk on the side knocked Thor out with a punch. However, he jumped out of the wreckage of the building and jumped up to the tall building. However, the weapons of the Chittoris may not pose any threat to Hulk, but they still make Hulk tired. Strenuous activities made him consume a lot of energy. However, he still did not stop, and continued to destroy the Chittori. On the ground, Black Widow is fighting a group of Zetarians. These war machines only have the instinct to fight, they will not suffer or be afraid. However, they are also not proficient in fighting skills, and even their marksmanship is not good. At this time, Black Widow had 2 pistols in her hand, which directly killed a team of them. She even had a close fight with a few Chitarians who were close to her, but again, she was also injured. There was blood flowing from the corners of his mouth, and a weapon of the Chittori was also seized in his hand. At this time in the nearby block, Captain America rescued some civilians. Captain America's shield flew out and hit a Chittori directly, and then the whole person jumped up and hit the Chittori. At the moment when the shield flew back, Captain America raised his hand and grabbed it, and the shield smashed the Chittori's throat. At this moment, above the sky, a golden light flashed, and Tony Stark, driving the steel suit, blew up several aircraft again. Sir, 50% of your energy is left. I know, Jarvis. Stark spoke indifferently. However, when using weapons, he also had to be careful to save. After all, it is not known when this battle will end. If the energy is exhausted, then he will become a lamb to be slaughtered. Then, with the help of his mobility in the sky, he took these Chitauris to fly, through various blind spots, and destroyed the enemy. Because of the mechanical manipulation, the Chitauris were not flexible in turning. However, the Chitaurians are not fools. After they couldn't catch up, they gave up trying to chase Tony Stark forcibly. And above the tall building, Hawkeye kept shooting arrows, and all kinds of arrows with strange functions were shot out. Almost all hits. Each shot can kill a Chitauri flying machine, but many Chitauris found him and began to climb upstairs. Although everyone in the Avengers has worked hard, the Chitaurians have not decreased, and they are still very numerous. At this time, above the sky, the huge portal is still sending a powerful army. The Avengers' physical strength is also constantly depleting. And now this kind of battle is obviously not a cure for the symptoms. As long as the portal is not closed, the Chitaurians will be endless. However, even knowing that, under the harassment of so many Chitauris, they have no time to close the portal. Not to mention, this teleporter is composed of a cosmic cube, and the portal cannot be destroyed at all. And at this time, on the street near the Stark building, several figures came out of an aperture. It was the Commodores who came to support them, responsible for supporting and treating the wounded. Although Commodore is an archmage, but because he is old and he was injured on the battlefield before, so he can teach his disciples, but he is really lacking in fighting. This time, I came to support because of the difficult frontline battle. But, Master Commodore, it doesn't seem to be in the mirror space maintained by the mage. A mage said with a frown. I see it, this is New York. Looking at the sky above and flying over the Chitauris, Commodore couldn't help but smile bitterly. He hadn't participated in a battle of this level for too long, and it was passed from Comatage directly to New York. He was originally going to be teleported to the temple in New York. Now, only archmages can enter this large-scale mirror space. They can only go in and out of the temple in New York. Unfortunately, he made a mistake this time. Fortunately, this is not the center of the battle. It's okay, we're ready to fight, it's not far from the New York temple, let's rush over. Commodore has also experienced wars anyway, so now he won't be too flustered. Although he said so himself, the following mages became a little flustered. Commodore can handle it, but that doesn't mean they can too. Not everyone is good at fighting. These logistics groups are not good at fighting. Although he has also undergone training, his actual combat experience is almost zero. Hearing Commodore's words, they couldn't help but get nervous. Master Commodore, we won't fight. Yes, Master Commodore. There is no other choice now, just rush over. Commodore was helpless. Now he can only rush over, he doesn't want to fail again. Although these mages were extremely nervous, Yu read but also knew that this might be the only option, and they could only nod their heads in agreement. At this time, quite a few Chitaurians had already noticed them, and there was no one on the street at all. The appearance of these people was really unexpected. At this time, Commodore had also discovered that the Chitaurians had discovered them, and Commodore's face could not help but become solemn, and then said extremely solemnly, "Prepare to fight." Speaking of which, he had a shield in his hand. The mage behind him saw this scene and knew that he had no other choice, so he quickly gathered his magic shield. However, their faces were extremely nervous, and they were very at a loss. Looking at the Chitauri people around them, they all started to tremble. Whoosh whoosh, the sound of breaking wind sounded, and the lasers continued to lacing. Commodore blocked the lasers one after another, but I had to say that the number of these Chitauris was simply too many. In a short time, Commodore was out of breath. As for those mages, it is impossible to protect themselves, so don't count on them. I stopped them. Where are you going to the temple? Commodore shouted loudly. Master Commodore, but, a mage was a little worried, but before he could finish speaking, the wineglass Commodore interrupted. No but, let's go. Master Commodore's tone was unquestionable, and his expression was solemn as he watched the Chitauri approaching gradually in front of him. At this moment, a figure fell into the sky. A flaming sword with an aura of destruction. The holy sword of Emperor Wyshan. Commodore only felt that a light of fire fell, and then a figure flashed by. At the same time, the Chitaurians were cut off by laziness. The wizards behind him couldn't help but widen their eyes, their faces filled with disbelief. What a powerful strength. This is the Archmage. The Archmage is here to save us. But this is too powerful, isn't it? The Supreme Mage. Look, he's a man. No matter who this person is, there is no doubt that they are very excited. On the other hand, Kamidal felt that this figure was a little familiar. After beheading these Kitarui people, the figure turned around. Wang Yang. After seeing Wang Yang, Kamidal didn't change much except for the initial surprise, but several other mages couldn't help screaming with excitement after seeing Wang Yang. It's Wang Yang, he's really amazing, he's a genius. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. I guess the Archmage is just like that. No, everyone said he was a genius, but now I think it's true. Quote. Hearing the words of these mages, Wang Yang couldn't help blushing, and he would be embarrassed to be praised like this. Cough, everyone praised me, I'm just an ordinary mage. Wang Yang said humbly. A few mages are naturally full of faces. Looking at the corpses of Chitarui in one place, you are fooling these corpses. Just you, an ordinary mage. Wang Yang just explained it casually. As for whether these mages believe it or not, he doesn't care. He had already participated in the battle. After discovering that Kamidal was in danger, he didn't think much about it and rushed over to support him immediately. Master Kamidal, you can completely go through the passage of Kamatage, why use the portal? Wang Yang said helplessly. Isn't this a cue? I didn't expect my portal to go astray. Kamidal said with some embarrassment. It was also quite embarrassing for him to ask his disciple to save his life when something happened. But embarrassment turned into embarrassment, and I couldn't help but feel a little proud. After all, the mage he taught has become so powerful. Master Kamidal, come with me, I will take you to the New York Temple. Wang Yang shrugged. Now that things have happened, there is no point in blaming. And Kamidal was very nice to him too. Escorting such a trivial matter is nothing to him. Thank you, Master Wang Yang. The mage standing behind Kamidal couldn't help but say gratefully at this time. At this time, Wang Yang's strength had completely conquered them. Although Wang Yang is still only an apprentice, in their eyes, it is no different from an archmage. Let's go, you're welcome. Wang Yang nodded and then took them to the New York Temple. Along the way, Wang Yang could just use ordinary magic shields and chains to clean up the Kitarui. And these basic magics have exerted great power in his hands. None of the Kitarians could resist Wang Yang's blow. When the mages saw this scene, they cheered even more with a fuss. Master Wang Yang is really a genius. No, it's still our great savior. Without him, how could we get to the New York Temple? Quote. Hearing these words, Wang Yang just smiled humbly. I didn't feel complacent because of the praise of these mages, and continued to lead them forward. Basically no Chidori can stop them. However, their location is very close to the Stark building, which is also the place with the highest concentration of Chitarians. And this is also where the Avengers members intercept the Chidori. Not long after they left, they saw a member of the Avengers. Captain America. Although Captain America was a super soldier during World War II, his physical strength reached the limit of human beings. But after all, he can't fly, and he's not good at long-range attacks, so he can use his advantages on the ground. A single Chidori on the ground is no match for him at all, but there are still many Chidoris. Dozens of Chidoris gathered around, and Captain America became a little dangerous. Fortunately, when these Chidoris got together, they did not use high-tech lethal weapons, but only melee with Captain America. Otherwise, Captain America might not be able to resist. When Wang Yang arrived here, he happened to see this scene. These Chidoris are like well-trained soldiers, surrounded by Captain America, not afraid of life and death. Captain America killed the Chidori, but he couldn't arouse the fear of the other Chidoris. This man is so powerful. Kamidal couldn't help feeling emotional after seeing this scene. Although he saw a few powerful humans in the New York War displayed by magic, it was still a bit incredible to see it up close. Especially this person is super strong in melee combat, even more powerful than their mages. This is a member of the Avengers, Captain America. Wang Yang explained. So they are the Avengers. Kamidal's face was stunned. Of course, the Avengers and the others had heard of it in Kamatage, but they had never really seen it. Let's help him, after all, he wants to protect the Earth just like us. Kamidal said. Wang Yang nodded. The incantation came out of his mouth, and with a flick of his hands, countless red chains emanated, heading straight for these ants-like Chitarians. These red chains were like long snakes, directly entangling the Chitarians, and then the chains tightened. Kacha kacha. These hundreds of Chitauri were crushed directly by the chains. Seeing this scene, the wizards standing behind couldn't help but stare blankly. What a powerful magic! Naturally, the mage behind Wang Yang couldn't get in touch with high-level magic, and had never seen this magic at all. Even if Kamidal were dead, it would be a little weird. Kamidal can be considered to have seen this magic, and he also has vision. He has seen the magic of Kamatage. This is clearly the Scarlet Chain, but when did the Scarlet Chain become so powerful? Isn't the Scarlet Chain purely magical suppression, and the attack is only based on the Scarlet Divine power above, and the flames formed by it burn? But Wang Yang's magic is still a bit incredible. Magic can actually cause such powerful physical damage, even like a big snake, it can be directly wound and crushed. Kamidal was a little emotional. Although he has long known that Wang Yang's magic talent is powerful, he has never seen anyone who can use magic in this way. Captain America took a deep breath, his pressure plummeting as the Chitauris were wiped out. Captain America did not expect that there would be people here, and these people were all wearing monk robes. But anyway, these people saved him just now. He was about to thank him when he heard a roar. Under this roar, the glass of the building next to it shattered and fell. Then a green figure rushed over, like a cannonball. Boom! The ground shook violently, and countless dust and asphalt roads collapsed. Hulk's size is undoubtedly powerful. He is 3 meters tall, and he has muscles bulging high on his body. Like a crazy monster, Hulk and Banner are two different characters. Hulk is like a child, full of destruction. However, I also know how many of Captain America's teammates are. Now the teammates are surrounded by a few people wearing monk robes, and they naturally go crazy. He still regards Wang Yang and others as the same enemies as the Chitarians. Anger made him even stronger. Boom boom boom. Every time Hulk stepped on the ground, there would be a loud roar, and at this moment, several mages who had no combat experience were frightened and pale. They were originally academic mages. Never experienced this scene at all. Now, seeing a very oppressive giant coming, not paralyzed with fright, it is already a manifestation of their high physical fitness. The Kamidal next to me is a little better. Although even he is shaking a little now, he is much better than those mages. Hulk, don't. Although Captain America wanted to stop him, Hulk was angry now, and obviously he couldn't listen to Captain America at all. Kamidal looked at Hulk who was approaching and said in a low voice, Wang Yang, can you deal with this guy? If we can't, let's go first. Running away is not a cowardly act, it's just better to maintain our combat effectiveness. Hearing Kamidal's words, Wang Yang also had a headache at this time. Hulk went mad and appeared to rush in. Obviously, he would not be good. It's just that he could leave easily, but it would be more troublesome to have a few mage left. Hulk, we are just helping Captain America, not your enemy. Wang Yang said. The Hulk, who was just going mad, couldn't listen to anyone. The more angry he is, the stronger the power will be. But with that, sanity will also disappear. Looking at Wang Yang, Hulk didn't say a word, just punched him directly. A fist as huge as a hill smashed, and the air also roared at this moment. The sound of the wind made a sharp neighing sound under this punch, which was the neighing sound of the air being compressed by a powerful force. Seeing this scene, Wang Yang could only passively respond to the enemy. Raising his hand, a ring of Ragador condensed out, blocking Wang Yang. Boom! Hulk's punch fell. A terrifying roar sounded, and an impact force radiated directly from the two of them. The surrounding sand and stones were directly blown away under the impact of this terrifying impact, and a few mages who had had weak legs for a long time turned into rolling gourds under this force. However, Wang Yang was unmoved. After absorbing the fighting talents of several archmages, even in the face of Hulk, he did not have the slightest stage fright. Even after resisting Hulk's power, Hulk took a few steps back because of the rebound of his power. Master Wang Yang is too powerful. The few wizards who got out of the way and saw that Wang Yang actually blocked such a monster's punch, they couldn't help but feel inexplicably shocked. Although Kamatage's mages are proficient in melee combat, their strength is also very powerful because of the blessing of cosmic energy. But the mage is just a mage after all, facing the Hulk who is known for his strength. I am afraid that ordinary magic shields will collapse directly. However, now Wang Yang not only resisted this punch, but the ring of magic Ragador didn't collapse, which is incredible. Although they knew that Wang Yang's magic talent was powerful, it was too terrifying. Not only these mages, but Kamador was also shocked. He felt that some archmages might not be able to stop Hulk's punch. This is magic, and it is also a problem with his physical quality. But compared to them, Wang Yang looked at the Hulk in front of him and didn't take it seriously. The Hulk is powerful, but once the magic reaches a certain level, Hulk, who can only melee combat, is no match for the mage at all. For example, the Scarlet Witch almost tore apart Thanos in her rage, which is the horror of magic. So without any means to assist, Hulk is not his opponent. Of course, if he was replaced by Thanos with infinite gloves in front of him, he would definitely turn around and leave without saying a word. After all, the Infinity Gauntlet can crack a lot of magic. Compared to the Hulk, in front of the mage, he is nothing but an Iron Man. And he also wanted to test how powerful his magic was. For now, he is quite satisfied with the strength of the Ring of Ragador that he has improved. Wang Yang put down his hand, but the Ring of Ragador was not put away. Okay, Hulk, calm down for me first, we're here to help you. However, Hulk didn't knock Wang Yang up with one punch, and was even more angry, and charged up again with a roar. Boom boom boom. The sound of huge footsteps made Hulk like a humanoid tank, full of deterrence. In comparison, Wang Yang's expression on his face was not at all flustered, and he said helplessly, "Forget it, I can only let you calm down." Wang Yang remembered the free fall that Doctor Strange used on Loki. When he raised his hand, the Ring of Ragador disappeared, and then raised his hand to draw a circle. This circle is 3 meters away from the ground in front of him. You reading. Hulk just ran into this circle, and the whole person fell directly. And then disappeared. Seeing that Wang Yang easily dealt with this terrifying Hulk, several mages also exhaled a sigh of relief. What did you do to Hulk? At this time, Captain America looked at Wang Yang nervously. It won't hurt him, just let him fall freely for a while and calm down. Wang Yang replied. Hearing Wang Yang's words, Captain America breathed a sigh of relief. Since the person in front of him saved him, he naturally wouldn't kill them. Thank you for saving me. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely repay you. Captain America said seriously, and then said, but now I'm going to deal with those aliens. At this time, his teammates' calls came from his earphones. Captain, are you still there? How are you doing, Captain? Quote. Although Captain America and them have just formed the Avengers, at this time, they are comrades in arms. I'm fine, I'll go and help. Captain America pressed his earphones and said. Okay, you'll be fine, I thought I was going to officiate your funeral. Stark said with a joke. There are some civilians trapped in the Fonda block. Natasha is a little embarrassed. Captain, go take a look. Hawkeye said in the sky. Okay, I'll go over immediately. After saying that, Captain America was about to leave. Wang Yang stopped him. Wait, Steve. On the roof of the New York temple, a bald woman in a monk's robe stood on it with 2 golden shields in her hands. She is the supreme mage, Ji Yi. This is the best chance to test them, I'm running out of time. Ji Yi murmured in a low voice. As the master of the Eye of Agamotto, she can see through the future, and can also see the arrival of Doctor Strange and her death. Now that such a big event is happening in New York, she also wants to see how the Kamatage mages she trained can deal with it and whether they can deal with it. This kid is not bad. Is he just an apprentice? Ji Yi's eyes flashed, as if he saw someone, a smile appeared on his face. Do you have anything else to do? Captain America looked back at Wang Yang curiously. Hulk hasn't returned it to you yet. Wang Yang couldn't help but gave a dumb smile. Oh yes. Captain America nodded. He had just seen Hulk fall into a golden halo, and then disappeared. I don't know where it went. In such a battlefield, Hulk is an important fighting force. Wang Yang raised his hand and waved, and a huge light circle appeared in the sky. A huge green hunk fell out of it. Boom! There was a loud noise on the ground. After the Hulk landed, he let out a roar, but what was different from before was that when he saw Wang Yang, he wanted to tear him apart, but now he seems to be dodging. After all, free fall is not fun. Captain America naturally didn't know what happened to the Hulk. Crazy as a Hulk, he is actually afraid. After all, Hulk dared to rush to compete even in the face of the most terrifying opponent, but now he is so afraid. Simply incredible. Wang Yang took it for granted. Even the number 1 mage in the 9 realms became so embarrassed in the face of free fall, not to mention Hulk, a character who can only be angry. If he continued to free fall again, Hulk couldn't control himself, so he would naturally be afraid. Okay, tell your friend, we just misunderstood. You continue to fight, and we will continue to fight too. As Wang Yang said that, he brought Kamador and the others and prepared to leave. At this moment, Wang Yang saw that the entire sky seemed to have dimmed at this moment. Looking up, a huge alien warship was rushing towards them. In front, there is Thor running fast. From time to time, terrifying energy weapons will be launched from the huge alien warships. If it wasn't for Thor running fast, he might have been knocked down. After all, it is an alien battleship. As the landing ship of the Ketarians, it naturally has countless powerful advanced weapons on it. All kinds of laser cannons are all over the body, and it can be like a mobile war weapon. Although the Avengers are extremely powerful, the dead landing ship still shows great power. Various weapons were fired continuously. While Lei Shen attacked, he dodged the attack of the weapon above, looking somewhat embarrassed. Slash. It's the battleship of the Chitaurus. When Kamador saw this scene, he couldn't help but panic. With such a huge weapon of war, he felt a huge sense of oppression. Hulk, hurry up, go up and smash him. When Captain America saw this scene, his expression became a little dignified. Hulk was extremely depressed in the free fall just now, and now he can just vent his anger. Immediately, he jumped into the sky, jumped to the nearby building, and raised his hand to grab it. The cement of the building was shattered by him like foam, but he jumped onto the battleship. What a powerful monster! Seeing this scene, the mage behind Wang Yang couldn't help but say with emotion. Several mages standing behind Wang Yang couldn't help but sigh. This time, Wang Yang also nodded in agreement. After all, for the Hulk, this reinforced concrete is like scraps of paper. But this time was not the time for them to watch the fun. Wang Yang discovered that at this time, another alien warship flew towards them. After all, on the street at this time, only a few of them can still stand here and watch the fun. For the Chitauri, it is an enemy. The alien battleship opened its mouth wide, emitting a terrifying light with a powerful destructive power. Wang Yang, that Chitauri battleship has discovered us. Kamador looked up at the sky nervously. I know. Wang Yang nodded and said helplessly. The powerful destructive power exerted by such a huge warship can probably destroy a large area. At this time, a blue light has gathered in the huge alien battleship, and it is about to blast out. Obviously this is a device similar to the main gun. That's why someone who is as strong as Thor can't shake his edge. If this kind of power were to hit, even Hulk would be injured. However, under magic, magic also has an absolute advantage. Ring of Ragador. Wang Yang clapped his hands, and a spell came out of his mouth. A 2-meter shield was condensed in front of them, and countless runes were arranged in the shield, making the entire shield very thick. www.novelhall.com, rely on. Quote. This made the mage who saw this scene look shocked. Is this still the Ring of Ragador? Even the always refined Kamador couldn't help but swear at this moment. Perhaps the magic used by the first few Wang Yangs can be ignored. After all, it is high-level magic. At that time, the Ring of Ragador had always been the magic he was familiar with. He has always thought that he is very good at the Ring of Ragador, but he can actually become like this. To do so, the Ring of Ragador is an enhanced version of the magic shield. There is basically no chance for such basic magic to be improved, but now it is too outrageous. This magic has become like a 1-meter thick city wall. Kamador never imagined that the Ring of Ragador could still be used like this. This made Kamador feel that his magic for so many years was in vain. Not only high-level magic can't compare, even ordinary magic can't compare. Compared to Kamador's complicated mood, the mages behind him couldn't help but look shocked when they saw this scene. Wow, is this the Ring of Ragador? It's amazing. Can the Ring of Ragador still be used like this? I've learned a lot. Why is the Ring of Ragador cast by Master Wang Yang different? Why can I only make the Ring of Ragador the same size as the washbasin? Quote. When several mages saw Wang Yang's magic, they talked a lot. Kamidal couldn't help but smile bitterly. They actually used ordinary mages to measure Wang Yang. This was the most wrong thing. Boom! A huge explosion sounded in the block. A dazzling blue light rushed down like a beam of light, destroying the sky and destroying the earth. This beam of light swept across, covering most of the street. Large swaths of high-rise buildings were destroyed, collapsed, and dust was raised. However, Wang Yang and others on the other side did not change at all, and seemed to block this terrifying bombardment of destruction. When Kamidal and a few mages saw this scene, they seemed to have become statues, and they looked at Wang Yang without blinking. They couldn't imagine that such a terrifying alien weapon could be completely blocked by a shield. And this powerful main artillery bombardment is probably comparable to the magic of Kamatage. Even an archmage would become embarrassed under such a non-attack. However, Wang Yang could resist such terrifying power with the Ring of Ragador. Although the Ring of Ragador is covered with cracks, it seems that it may collapse completely at any time. However, it did block this terrifying power. Wang Yang raised his hand and waved, and the Ring of Ragador turned into a little golden light and disappeared into the air. Not only that, the Chitoris on this alien battleship were like dumplings, and Chitoris kept jumping from them. Then he used energy weapons to keep attacking here. But when Wang Yang saw this scene, he naturally wouldn't let these Kitarians have the chance to attack. With a spell in his mouth, he raised his hand and shook it. Scarlet chains, countless chains, like living creatures, directly entangled many fallen Chitoris, and under a strangulation, these Chitoris were completely crushed. At the same time, a chain went straight to the huge alien warship above the sky. Compared to this huge hull, this red chain is nothing at all. However, just as he was wrapping the huge hull around, Wang Yang yanked fiercely. This red chain was cut directly from the huge-shaped warship like iron wire. Click! The huge alien battleship seemed to be cut off by laziness, and then the huge alien battleship crashed down. Countless broken parts scattered, and the Chidori who were originally on the ground killed these Chidoris when the huge alien warship fell. The whole neighborhood calmed down. The wizards standing on him couldn't help but stunned. A few of them had never even been on the battlefield, and when they saw this scene, they couldn't help falling to the ground. Kamidal is much better. After all, he has also been on the battlefield, a battle mage, and he has never seen anything. As for Wang Yang's terrifying methods. On the battlefield, if a woman is benevolent, she will only put her own life in danger. But he couldn't imagine the scarlet chain being used in this way at all. And this is the battleship of Chidore, a battleship that can fly in space. One can imagine how strong it is, and there are many special alloys on it, which are not conceivable by technology on Earth, and can even withstand the power of some civilizations' arms. However, such a strong and sturdy alloy could not block the chain. Looking at the mirror-like incision, Kamidal smiled wryly. How powerful Wang Yang is, and his experience in using magic is beyond his imagination. Even Kamidal had some doubts whether the Supreme Mage could do this. It's terrifying to destroy a battleship so easily. In Kamidal's view, Wang Yang may not be able to compare to the Supreme Mage, but he can definitely be compared to the famous mage in the history of Kamatage. Just when Kamidal felt that Wang Yang's talent was too strong, another alien warship was flying around, and above, the Hulk was constantly smashing it, but it was still unable to cause substantial damage to this alien warship. Harm. Compared with the movies, these alien battleships are even more difficult to deal with. Not only are the battleships equipped with powerful firepower, but there are also countless Chidori armies. As the vanguard of Thanos, these are powerful, needless to say. Moreover, the strength of the Kitarui people is not weak, and the technology is also extremely powerful. It is not easy for the Avengers to deal with it. At this time, even if Thor and the Hulk were dealing with the alien battleship, they still couldn't win it for a while. Thor, it looks like you need help. At this moment, Iron Man Stark's voice sounded. Stark, now is not the time for jokes. Thor kept breathing heavily, blasting thunder and lightning at the approaching Chitauri. Knocks the approaching Chitarians into the air. But more Chitaurus rushed up again. Thor held Thor's hammer in his hand, and the power of thunder and lightning poured out, but all fell on the huge alien battleship that fell. Countless Chitaurus surrounded them. Fortunately, even so, with his physical strength, he can resist it. However, if the huge alien warship full of shadows falls, even he will be smashed into patties. Boom boom boom. A huge explosion sounded. Dozens of small missiles exploded directly on the alien warship, leading away the alien warship. No thanks, Thor. Stark said something, and the steel battle suit flashed by with him. But at this time, the small cannons on the alien warships were already aimed at him. Reading. Before Stark could fly far, the whole person smashed straight into the distance. Boom. Iron Man directly smashed into a building, but fortunately his steel suit has strong defense and buffering capabilities. We have to find a way to kill them. Stark couldn't help complaining. Captain America's voice also sounded in the communication. Don't swear. There seems to be another battleship coming from the sky. It's endless. Several members of the Avengers couldn't help but smile bitterly. Even facing so many battleships, they can no longer cope. If there are more, they will probably be in big trouble. Fortunately, the Chitauri army did not enter the Earth indefinitely. Thor, find a way to deal with the Hulk first. That's all Captain America can say. Thor also wanted to agree, but with the continuous use of the power of lightning, he also reached his limit. I have to rest first and recover. Although the Avengers all wanted Thor to take action, they knew they couldn't force it. After all, at the beginning of the battle, Thor was the main force. Under such a level of combat, it is also somewhat unsustainable. At one point, he even blocked the passage in the sky by himself. However, it also made the Avengers a little desperate for a while. If the two battleships cannot be completely solved, New York may be destroyed in a mess. But what do they do now? At this moment, they were all in despair. But Captain America looked at Wang Yang. Just now Wang Yang could destroy one battleship, and he should be able to deal with two. Hulk didn't think as much as the members of the Avengers thought. At this time, he was furious and smashed the huge alien battleship. And at this time, both Tony and Thor saw the golden light flashing in front of them, and countless golden rays of light shrouded the huge alien battleship. Suddenly Hulk felt the alien battleship under his feet collapsed directly. Another huge alien warship also collapsed at the same time. Thor couldn't help but be taken aback when he saw this scene. What happened just now? It seems that some kind of extremely condensed weapon emits energy. Compared to Thor, Tony's AI can only calculate and capture everything around him, but the energy value he just discovered has already exploded. Seeing this kind of value, Tony Stark was already a little shocked. He couldn't imagine that there was such a terrifying energy. Even more powerful than his arc reactor. You must know that his arc reactor is enough to supply a city with electricity. And those golden lines can actually do it. This is simply incredible. Stark, who did this? Thor asked with a frown. I don't know, I don't even know who used such a powerful force. Stark shook his head. Even with his strong capturing power, he never noticed such a rapid change for a while. Is it a secret weapon made by S.H.I.E.L.D.? Go down first, you should be able to see the person who cast it. Thor suggested that his body was already very tired, and now he has gone through a big battle. Okay, Tony Stark also nodded. He also wanted to see who did it all. Then they fell from the sky and saw the person with Captain America. When I saw this young man in a monk's robe, he wasn't actually from S.H.I.E.L.D. Although Tony Stark is arrogant, he is not stupid. Knowing that the other party has power, he is probably stronger than them. As for Thor, he naturally respects the strong. No need, since the trouble has been resolved, I have other things to do, so I'll go first. Wang Yang shook his head. He was in a hurry to take Kamidal and others to the New York temple. I don't know how the Kamatage war is going now. But it wouldn't be too difficult to think about, there are several archmages. In addition, the Supreme Mage should also be watching this scene. In Avengers 4, the Supreme Mage is alone on the roof of the New York temple, and should be a Zitterian. If the Archmage really encounters any problem, he will definitely take action. As for the reason why the Supreme Mage did not take action, he could somewhat guess. After all, he can already calculate his own death, so whether Archmage Kamataj can deal with such a war is naturally her concern. Etc. How did you do it? With such a powerful force, how could human beings be able to do it? Tony Stark's voice came from the steel armor. Mr. Tony Stark, this is the power of human will, not what you can imagine. Wang Yang said with a noncommittal smile. Then Wang Yang turned around and was about to leave. Etc. Captain America also spoke. What's up? Wang Yang looked back at Captain America. Join our Avengers. With such a powerful force, you can definitely protect the Earth with us. Captain America said excitedly. Only after this battle did they realize their weakness. If Wang Yang joins, their combat power will definitely increase. Sorry everyone, I'm not that noble. Wang Yang has no interest in being an Avenger. Also, you'd better catch Loki quickly and close the teleportation channel. The Chitarians still have the mothership behind. After Wang Yang finished speaking, he turned and left with Kamidal and the others. Hearing Wang Yang's words, the expressions of several Avengers couldn't help but change greatly. Just a landing ship is already so difficult to deal with. If there is a mothership, then it is worth it. At this time, Wang Yang was not in the mood to pay attention to the members of the Avengers, and hurriedly took Kamidal and others to the temple in New York. At this time, the temple monitoring formation in New York has been activated. This powerful magic formation with planets as energy is the highest wisdom crystallization of the Supreme Mage. And the opening of this magic circle will also limit the fluctuation of space, and they can't even open the portal. This is also why Kamidal teleports away. Along the way, Wang Yang could only use his powerful strength to kill the Zeta Ruxing people who were blocking the way, and he wanted to kill a path in it. The wizards behind him were all dumbfounded. However, under the Wang Yang, they soon arrived at the New York Temple. Through the New York Temple, they also entered the mirror space. Wang Yang, you are finally back. Seeing Wang Yang coming back, Wang directly greeted him. Just now, they found that Kamidal was far away, so Wang Yang was asked to come to meet him. But at this time, Wang looked a little tired. There are some bloodstains on the monk's robe, I think he was injured. Obviously, even in the mirror space, on their main battlefield, the battle is still not easy. Sorry, there was a little trouble on the way, I have brought back Master Kamidal and others. Wang Yang said respectfully. Thanks for your hard work. Wang patted Wang Yang on the shoulder, admiring it. If it weren't for the fact that most of the manpower was currently fighting, otherwise, he actually didn't want Wang Yang to go to the chaotic New York. After all, in case something happened, it would be the loss of their Kamataj. Now that Wang Yang can bring Kamidar and others back, he has done a good job. But next, Wang Yang still has to work hard for you to join the front line together. Wang frowned and said, unshakable. Wang Yang nodded and said. Then they entered the mirror space together, and in the mirror space, they could use magic freely. Open a portal directly and head to the front line. The mages of Kamataj played an absolute factor in this battle, otherwise, the number of Chitauri and the destruction caused by aircraft were unprecedented, and it was simply not what they could imagine. At this time, the sky was densely packed with aircraft of the Kitarui people, and there were many corpses on the ground. All kinds of gorgeous magic are constantly intertwined in the sky. And the laser weapons of the Chitauri flashed across the sky. Although the mirror space here is no different from the outside world. Wang Yang appeared directly on the front line of the battlefield. In front of him, 7 or 8 alien warships were floating in the sky. At this time, they opened their mouths, and blue rays of light were constantly condensing. Then, in the humming sound, beams of light spewed out and went straight to the numerous mages. Chapter 51. Defense. An archmage shouted, and dozens of mages condensed a magic shield at this moment to resist the attacks of these beams of light. Boom. The roar echoed, and the powerful impact storm scattered. Wang Yang's appearance didn't attract anyone's attention. At this moment, countless aircraft flew over. The Chitarians are not fools. They have also discovered that although these magical shields are powerful, the mages will also lose other means. In short, at this time, they are the easiest to kill and make them lose their combat effectiveness. Wang Yang jumped up, and in the mirrored space, the space building rose from the ground, lifting him towards the sky. But after seeing Wang Yang's action, the expressions of some mages changed drastically. You don't want to die, those Chitauri will set fire to you. However, Wang Yang turned a deaf ear. Under the attack of the Kitarui alien warship, their aircraft could exert more powerful combat power, and could even take the opportunity to injure the mage. Wang Yang didn't say a word, just started. Crimson chains. With a flick of his left hand, a red magic chain spurted out, directly wrapping around a Chidori aircraft, and then with a flick, the Chidori aircraft was directly pulled over. The holy sword of Emperor Weishan. The fire in the right hand shone, directly cutting the aircraft in half. The Chitarians on it were also cut off by laziness. It didn't stop, the scarlet chains split, dragged several approaching aircrafts one by one, and they were torn apart in an instant under the sacred sword of Weishan Emperor. Even if the alloy of the Kitarui people is extremely powerful, it can't stop the sacred sword of Weishandi in Wang Yang's hand. Other mages do not have powerful high-level magic, and can only cause some scars at most. Although more than 10 aircraft were destroyed in an instant, it was still unable to play a decisive role in the chaotic battlefield. Except for a few mages who discovered it, most of the others did not. As a mage who has mastered advanced magic, Wang Yang can't wait, so he can only kill as many Chitarians as possible and shoot down their flying machines. Countless Chidori corpses and flying machines fell down like insects sprayed with pesticides. The pressure of many mages dropped sharply. At this moment, they couldn't help but look up at Wang Yang, who stepped on the magic circle in the sky. At this moment, the mage on the ground couldn't help but be shocked. Originally, they thought the sky was the place where the fire was concentrated, and it was their death zone, but a mage could easily kill so many enemies in the sky. And can scarlet chains and Vishandi divine sword still be used like this? Pulled by the scarlet chains, the Vishanti sacred sword delivered a fatal blow, and these Chitarians couldn't react at all. They never thought that magic could be used like this, let alone them. Even the archmage who paid attention to the battlefield were immediately stunned. Hamel even sprayed out the water he just drank. This kid is really a genius, he can still use magic like this. Hamel sighed. Hamel, you also taught him magic, don't you know? The archmage on the side casts a glance at Hamel, feeling that Hamel is pretending. Obviously you have taught it, is this showing off his disciple? Hamel opened his mouth involuntarily. He did teach Wang Yang magic, but he never thought that these magics could be used in this way. And more importantly, these magics are extremely easy in Wang Yang's hands, like an arm, which is simply incredible. Wang couldn't help but say with emotion, he may be the most talented mage of Kamatage. Several archmage also strongly agreed. Wang Yang's appearance may really affect the entire battlefield. With the speed of Wang Yang's shot, Chitarui's aircraft could not exert much power at all. He was easily killed by Wang Gong. Even alien warships can't resist. On the battlefield, it calmed down for a while. Victory was achieved in a short period of time, but the mages present did not have any joy. After all, they had been fighting for so long, and they were not as good as playing alone for a period of time. And in such a powerful magic, there seems to be no end at all. They don't even think that Supreme Mage is so powerful. But just when they were wondering, the Kitarui army appeared again in the sky. Apparently, the Chidori are sending out their army again. The mages resisted again. However, because Wang Yang killed a large number of troops by himself, this also reduced the number of troops entering the mirror space. It is not too difficult even for mages to resist. Wang Yang frowned. If this goes on, it will only be endless. Instead of dealing with these Chidoris, he found the archmages who commanded the overall situation. The archmages will only go to the rescue when the mages can't resist. This is also the best choice. Master, you can't go on like this. Wang Yang frowned and said. These great mages were absolutely arrogant in front of ordinary mages, but when they saw Wang Yang, they couldn't help but bow their heads. They think they can't be like Wang Yang, they can kill so many Kitarui people in an instant. Archmage. What happened to you guys? Quote. Wang Yang frowned when he saw that none of these great masters spoke. Cough, nothing. Wang dryly coughed and smiled wryly. At first, he thought that it would be good for Wang Yang to bring Kamador and others back, but he didn't expect that this kid would directly determine the layout of the front line. And now, seeing this kid, his face is calm. Doesn't he know how terrible it is to kill so many Chidoris alone? But Wang is a senior old mage, so naturally he won't show it at this time. At this time, he said with a serious expression, Wang Yang, what do you want to say? Archmage, it's not enough to rely on the Avengers alone, we must find a way to close the channel of Chitauri. If the portal can't be closed, more Chitarians will enter Earth. They will even send their mothership. You must know that the mothership of the Chitauri has many Chitauri alien warships, and even has powerful lethal weapons. For the Guardians of the Galaxy, they had seen countless more powerful alien fleets. At that time, it was a typical dimensionality reduction strike for the Earth. They can only solve the trouble once and for all by closing the transmission channel. We tried, but we couldn't do it. The teleporter is isolated by a layer of powerful energy, and our attack can't attack effectively. Wang frowned and shook his head. The transmission channel is naturally the biggest key factor in this battle. As long as the teleportation channel is closed, the Chitarians naturally cannot enter, but unfortunately, they cannot do it at all. For this can destroy the teleportation channel. As mages, they naturally know, but this teleporter is wrapped by the energy field. In the face of this powerful energy, all their magic will be useless. It cannot be destroyed at all. How can this transmission channel be closed? Several archmages were a little helpless. They also wanted to end the war, but there was nothing they could do. Wang Yang naturally knew the reason. The transmission channel is opened by the space gem, and the energy above is also provided by the space gem. And such an energy protection can only be destroyed with the Infinity Stones. We must find Loki and get the psychic scepter in his hand, which can destroy the protective energy of the teleporter. Wang Yang said, now we have to move fast. Oh, well, we must find Loki as soon as possible and grab the scepter. Wang did not hesitate and said directly, no matter where Wang Yang's news comes from now, this may be an opportunity to change the whole battle situation. Above the Stark building, boom, with a roar, Loki was blown away by Hawkeye's bow and arrow and smashed into the Stark building. Thor rushed over, holding the Thor hammer and shouting, Loki, surrender. Surrender, you are so naive. Loki held the scepter and shouted, I am Loki, the #1 mage of the 9 realms. Loki is still arrogant, just as he was when he invaded Earth at the beginning. Roar, Hulk let out a roar and rushed over. Boom boom boom. The entire building began to tremble under Hulk's action, and Hulk punched Loki. Loki didn't care about Hulk's big punch, and still had a smile on his face. Just when the Hulk's huge fist hit Loki, there was a sudden flash of light, and Hulk's fist passed directly through Loki. Loki disappeared in place, and Hulk punched in the air. As a mage, an attack of pure power like the Hulk, as long as Loki doesn't want to fight head-on, usually won't hit him at all. Stupid big man. Loki appeared from another place with a look of disdain on his face. Loki, hand over the scepter, you can't escape. Thor looked at Loki and said angrily. Can't escape. Loki was full of disdain, and in a flash, he appeared by the window. You think you can catch me? Thor was extremely angry, and the Thor's hammer in his hand tightened even more. Loki. In terms of combat power, Loki is not his opponent. But Loki knows magic, and he can turn his tricks around. In addition, after such a long battle, his strength is almost exhausted. Compared to his older brother and angry big man, Loki is much more relaxed. At this time, he was not in a hurry to leave. The Avengers, yes, you brought me a lot of trouble. But now, you guys are at the end of the game, and I'm still full of energy. And my army is still flowing. What strength do you have to fight me? After today, your Avengers will also become the dust of history. And the Earth will also be occupied by the Zeta Rising. At that time, I, Loki, will also become the king of Asgard. Loki is frantic, he wants to control everything too much. Roar, Hulk let out a roar and rushed towards Loki again. Looking at the rushing Hulk. You are nothing but a beast. I can control you once, and I can control you a second time. A wicked smile appeared on the corner of Loki's mouth. The scepter in his hand glowed. At this moment, he suddenly found that his magic could not be used. At the same time, Hulk's punch came over. A loud bang. Loki was directly punched by Hulk on one side of the wall. The whole person seemed to be embedded in the wall. This moment, not only Loki, but Thor was dumbfounded. You must know that with Loki magic, even if you are suddenly unable to control the Hulk, you can easily avoid the Hulk's attack. But now, in the mirror space, Wang Yang and several archmages were watching them. Wang Yang, you are so unexpected, you can easily learn it by banning demons, and you can exert such a powerful force. Looking at Wang Yang's hand connecting Loki with a thread, Wang couldn't help saying with emotion. Because his magic consumption was too great, he couldn't limit Loki, so he could only teach Wang Yang temporarily. Wang Yang not only learned it easily again, but also successfully restrained Loki. It's all taught by the Archmage. Wang Yang smiled modestly. At this time, Loki had fallen from the wall, and he was lying on the ground, gasping for breath. Loki's magic is very powerful. In the whole of Asgard, the god King Odin is the absolute powerhouse. A country that suppresses the 9 great kingdoms is extremely powerful. However, few people know the identity of Odin's wife. Frigga is the leader of the Warner Protoss. Many years ago, even with his tribe and Odin, he was not at a disadvantage. If it wasn't because of Odin's strength, Frigga couldn't bear the death and injury of her clan, so she married Odin and became Odin's wife. Since then, he has been hiding behind Odin. But it is undeniable that even Odin is no match for her magical attainments. She is the first person in Asgard magic. She was very good to Loki, and she almost taught her magic. So Loki's magical attainments surpass Thor's. In addition, he is an ice giant himself, with a powerful talent. If he is a magician, he can be regarded as the first person after Odin and Frigga. The power of the Avengers may be powerful, but under magic, even simple invisible magic is enough to make them unbreakable. What's more, the current Avengers have gone through a big battle. Not Loki's opponent at all. If it wasn't for Wang Yang and the others taking action in time, it is estimated that Loki would not have been easily hit. In the mirror space, Wang Yang and other archmage saw that Loki was unscathed, with a solemn look on his face. Loki is not as weak as the movie shows. Wang Yang, prepare to see what other means he has. We are in the dark and have more advantages, so we can't be discovered. Okay, Archmage. Wang Yang nodded and said. Loki stood up slowly, with a look of anger on his face. I am a god, you weak mortal. Since you are courting death, I will fulfill you. Loki was very angry at this moment. His right scepter disappeared in a flash, and at the same time, he threw his hands outward. 2 magic blades condensed out. This is a weapon made of ulu alloy, which is an extremely hard weapon. Loki's figure flashed, and he appeared directly behind Hulk. Even Hulk couldn't resist this blade at all. Hulk rolled his eyes and grabbed Loki's foot with a palm. Loki looked incredulous, knowing that he had already used magic. How could a big man like Hulk find him so easily? This is simply incredible. However, before he could react, he was grabbed by Hulk and smashed to the ground. Bang 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 bang. The ground collapsed, and numerous large pits appeared. What a weak god, Hulk said disdainfully and threw Loki to the ground. Wang Yang and several archmages in the mirror space couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Asgard's magic is different from ours, but fortunately, Loki is not too strong, otherwise, there may be some trouble. Wang Yang, you did a good job this time. Wang couldn't help but nodded his head in admiration. With Loki's changes, Wang and several archmages were also taking precautions. Without Wang Yang, it would not be possible to easily resist Loki. The Archmage is very praised. I just did a trivial thing. It's like the invisible true eye cast by Master Hamel. Obviously I can't stop Loki by myself. Okay, don't be humble, kid. Wang couldn't help rolling his eyes. Wang Yang's talent is so terrifying, it can be learned almost as long as it is easy to learn. Now that they are so humble, it seems that their talent is too poor. Loki was very aggrieved at this time, lying on the ground doubting life. Just now, he clearly used magic, but he couldn't use it at all, which made him doubt his life. What exactly is going on? Why doesn't his magic work? What exactly is going on? He really didn't understand. No one should be able to decipher Asgard's magic, right? Could it be that there is still a magical powerhouse on this earth who is the same as the Queen Mother? At this moment, Loki was full of doubts. But Thor didn't have time to pay attention. Where's the scepter? At this moment, Natasha came down from the roof. Thor is also looking around. Wang Yang, show his scepter. Wang saw this scene and looked at Wang Yang. You can't use the scepter again. Loki said angrily. Then the scepter appeared beside him. The scepter is here, Natasha, close the passage first. Thor threw the scepter to Natasha, and he looked at Loki. In fact, Loki doesn't need to look at it now, his face is still full of puzzlement and wonder. Okay, Natasha caught the scepter and went upstairs to destroy the teleportation device. At this point, Captain America and Iron Man are still dealing with the Chitaurus on the streets and in the sky. Natasha's voice was received in the earphones. I think I can destroy the teleportation channel. When they heard this, they couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. However, at this time, in the teleportation channel above the sky, countless Kitarui people appeared, densely packed. No more Chitarians can enter the Earth. Seeing this scene, Captain America said solemnly. At this time, they are all a little dignified, and when their physical strength is exhausted, they are really powerless. However, just after these Chitauri entered their sight, more than half of the Chitauri suddenly disappeared. Is this a miracle? Natasha was a little shocked when she saw this scene. But on the side, a golden portal appeared on the roof, and then Wang Yang and several archmages walked out of it. It's not a miracle, it's magic. Miss Natasha, you close the teleportation channel first, these Chitaurus are handed over to us. Wang Yang said calmly. Okay, Natasha nodded. Although the man in front of him was not a member of the Avengers, he was obviously standing in the same boat as them, so there was no need for her to refuse. At this time, Wang Yang and Archmage Kama-Taj were guarding the vicinity to prevent the Chitarians from attacking. Kama-Taj's mage, although it is nothing in Kama-Taj, especially nothing compared to the Supreme Mage. But that's just because the Supreme Mage is strong. At this time, they have the strength of a Hulk at least. I saw that they had a light shield in one hand, a weapon in the other, and all kinds of magic at their fingertips. It's nothing to be close to the Chitauri who want to stop them from closing the teleportation channel. At this time, the ground, the sky, the huge alien warships, and countless Chitaurus carried out the final general attack. Although the Chitarians are not afraid of life and death, the gap in strength is still irreparable. With the combination of shield and magic chains in one hand, and the sacred sword of Waishandi in the other, Wang Yang played these Kitarui people with applause. Let these Chitaurus keep getting cut in half and then falling. Compared with the smooth progress here, the battle on the ground is losing ground. Tony Stark's energy is also about to run out and has to be saved. When I saw Wang Yang and many Kama-Taj wizards protecting Natasha by chance, I couldn't help but open my mouth in surprise. Who are you? Tony Stark said with some emotion. You guys are too fierce. Although he doesn't know Kama-Taj, he can see that this must be an organization, but can an organization be so powerful? Especially this kid. Not to mention Iron Man thinks that Wang Yangmeng is a complete mess. Even Wang and several other great mages actually think so in their hearts. However, Wang won't lose face with his mouth. Pretending to be lofty, with an unfathomable expression on his face, he continued, his name is Wang Yang, and with us, he can only be regarded as an apprentice. When Tony Stark heard this, he couldn't help taking a deep breath. It's just that an apprentice is so fierce. How powerful will other people be? It seems that there are also many powerful beings on Earth. Close the portal now, Wang Yang urged. Their mages were also mortals, and they couldn't resist them for long. When their magic was exhausted, they might not be able to resist these Kitarians. Etc. At this moment, Tony Stark said suddenly. What happened? Captain America overheard Tony on the walkie-talkie. They had a nuclear bomb, we only have 2 minutes. What? Hearing this, the rest of the people couldn't help but be taken aback. I have an excellent idea. Tony Stark said with a smile. Let me come, you are too dangerous. Wang Yang said with a smile. Of course he also knew what Tony wanted to do. But that time when I sent a nuclear bomb to outer space, I almost had to explain my life there, so he might as well come. Can you? Tony Stark said somewhat unexpectedly. Don't worry, since he can say that, there is a way to deal with it. Wang also said solemnly. Then Wang Yang drew a circle of light in front of him. The portal condensed out. As Wang Yang drew a circle in front of him, a portal appeared in front of him. Then he stepped into it. On the edge of New York City, Wang Yang walked out of it, and a nuclear bomb flew quickly, with a powerful sound of breaking wind. In the movie, Iron Man Tony Stark dragged the nuclear bomb directly to the teleportation channel with the nuclear bomb, went to outer space, and then destroyed the mothership of the Chitauri. It's just that he almost died because of it. Wang Yang just planned to do her part, raising her hand to draw a circle. A portal appeared in front of the nuclear bomb. Whoosh! The nuclear bomb flew into the portal and disappeared. At the same time, Wang Yang returned to the roof of the Stark building again. How? Everyone looked at Wang Yang. If the nuclear bomb explodes, even if they are superheroes, they will probably be swallowed by the nuclear bomb. The nuclear bomb is gone. At this time, before Wang Yang could speak, Tony Stark, the Iron Man, spoke in shock. Jarvis has detected that the nuclear bomb is missing. Okay, close the teleporter. At this time, after hearing Stark's words, Captain America hurriedly closed the transmission channel for Black Widow. Wait, I'm going to give the Chitarians a big gift. Having said that, Wang Yang painted circles. Everyone saw that a portal appeared in front of the transmission channel. At the same time, a nuclear bomb flew out of it at an astonishing speed and rushed directly into the transmission channel. Next, boom, a dazzling light shines from it, and through the transmission channel, the New York sky is illuminated. Wang Yang turned to look at Black Widow and said, "Miss Natasha, you can close the teleportation channel now." Okay. Black Widow held Loki's scepter and pierced the shield. Boom. The teleporter is directly damaged. In an instant, the blue light above the Stark building disappeared. Everything is back to calm. With the damage of the mothership, countless Chitarians who stayed on the Earth were directly paralyzed, as if they had lost power. Captain America breathed a sigh of relief. Thanks. Tony Stark looked at Wang Yang and said with emotion. Need not. Wang Yang shook his head and continued, "You can handle the aftermath yourself, we're leaving." As he said that, he turned his head to look at a few archmages. Several archmages also nodded. Without waiting for Tony Stark and others to hold back, Wang Yang and several archmages entered the portal and disappeared. The war is over. Numerous wounded Taj wizards were healed. Wang Yang and others also returned to the New York Temple. New York Temple, London Temple, Hong Kong Temple. Every temple can be directly connected to Taj. After most of the mages returned to Taj, a figure suddenly walked out. This man kept the can and wore a robe. It seems ordinary, but if you look at her eyes, you will find that those eyes are full of depth and wisdom. At this time, he was walking in the temple like a stroll in the courtyard. Supreme Mage, you are back. Mordo seems to have long known that the Supreme Mage will return, and has been waiting here for a long time. Modu, you did a good job this time. Ji Yuyi was very satisfied. Although she did not participate in this battle, she paid attention to the whole battle. With such a big war, Taj could do it without her command, and she was very satisfied. In particular, several of the archmages also let Taj's mages not cause too many casualties, which shows that several archmages have done a good job. I just made some trivial contributions. It mainly depends on our archmage. Mordo said modestly. Modu, you don't need to be humble. Ji Yuyi said with a smile. By the way, Supreme Mage, this time we can win the battle as before. In fact, there is a kid who played a decisive factor. If you see him, you will definitely like him. He is better than Cassie. Mordo mentioned Cassius instinctively, and then quickly closed his mouth. After all, Cassius' betrayal was a very helpless thing for Ji Yuyi. I know that kid. Ji Yudao didn't take it seriously. Cassius' betrayal was to pave the way for Doctor Strange, and it was an inevitable thing to happen. I want to know what you think of him. Ji Yuyi was noncommittal. Supreme Mage, my opinion is that this kid is a genius. No, to be more precise, he is a monster. Mordo thought for a while, and then said. Ji Yudao glanced at Mordo in surprise. Modu is also her disciple. Even though Modu looks simple and honest on the outside, he looks like an honest elder, but he is also arrogant when it comes to magic. Of course, his arrogance is now hidden in his heart. There is absolutely no way for ordinary people to get his recognition, but now they would actually recognize a kid. Although she has seen that kid before. But what kind of talent is, from the point of view of the magic he casts, he is just a smart boy. Supreme Master, do you want to meet him? Seeing Ji Yuyi's expression, Modu suggested. Such a genius should still be taught by the Supreme Master. Ji Yu nodded slightly. Go back to Taj first. At Taj. At this time, after the mages recovered, Kamatage also resumed its original liveliness. Some mages with serious injuries also cultivated here. When many people saw Wang Yang, they couldn't help but surrounded him. Reading. Because in that battle, Wang Yang's importance was unquestionable, and he almost laid the cornerstone of their victory. Without Wang Yang, the casualties of the mages would have been even greater. However, facing such a scene, Wang Yang couldn't help but smile bitterly. After all, every time he goes out, as long as the mage finds out, he will be surrounded by people, so he has to be careful when he learns magic now. Master Wang Yang, are you interested in discussing with me today? Master Wang Yang, I don't know that we will hold a master exchange meeting in a few days. Are you interested in participating? Master Wang Yang, can you give me some pointers on magic? I have some questions. Quote. For these mages, Wang Yang could only respond with a smile. Not only that, he would often hear some people talking about him secretly. This is Mage Wang Yang. I heard that on the battlefield, hundreds of Chidarui's aircraft were destroyed in the blink of an eye. What? I heard that Master Wang Yang raised his hand and killed tens of thousands of Chidarui people on the battlefield. It's nothing, but I heard that Master Wang Yang has researched forbidden magic, which is extremely powerful, even an archmage can't compare. It seems that you don't know yet. I heard that Master Wang Yang was personally taught by the Supreme Master, so the Supreme Master did not appear this time, just wanted to test him. Quote. Hearing these words, Wang Yang couldn't help laughing bitterly. He was about to be told that there is nothing in the sky and nothing in the earth, and there is no invincible existence. Although Wang Yang had long known the power of rumors, he never thought that the power of rumors would be so great. And it's getting more and more outrageous. If it goes on like this, it is estimated that he will replace the Supreme Mage. Wang Yang felt a little helpless. For this kind of thing, he doesn't like it, he prefers to study magic in a low-key manner in Kamatage. However, this war is also helpless. And because Wang Yang is too young, even if he is outstanding in strength, it is difficult for people to feel a sense of majesty. Many young mages hope to communicate with him. After all, who doesn't want to befriend a mage with infinite future? Of course, more mages don't bother people easily, at most they just say hello to him on the road. It's a pity that even so, it made him a little bit annoying. It seems that it's better to keep a low profile. Too much reputation is not good at all. Wang Yang was extremely depressed. At the moment, I can only hurry back to my room and hide in the room to learn magic, which is much better than listening to these people talking. Knock knock knock. Just before he started cultivating, he heard someone knocking on his door. Wang Yang originally planned to pretend that he was gone, but after thinking about it, he sighed and got up to open the door. Later, Wang Yang found a mage in his 20s or 30s standing outside the door. If you want to invite me, or teach you, I really can't do anything. Wang Yang said with a wry smile. Mage Wang Yang, how did you know that the Supreme Mage invited you over there? As expected of Mage Wang Yang, he could instantly kill millions of Kitarui people on the battlefield. The mage was amazed. Wang Yang couldn't help being astonished, of course not because he heard that the mage had raised the rumors to such a level, but because the Supreme Mage actually wanted to see him. Did the Supreme Mage invite me? Wang Yang said in surprise. Although Wang Yang had long known that the Supreme Master was there during the battle, it still surprised him to see him. That's right, the Supreme Mage is waiting in the atrium, come over quickly. The mage sighed in his heart, guessing that Wang Yang is the next Supreme Mage. Wang Yang naturally didn't know what the mage was thinking, but even if he knew, he was helpless. After Wang Yang quickly thanked him, he walked towards the atrium. To be honest, Wang Yang was still a little excited to see this legendary figure. This is one of the most powerful people on Earth. Not only has magical attainments reached the pinnacle of excellence, but people are even more extraordinary. Wang Yang quickly arrived at the atrium. Soon he saw a bald woman making tea in the atrium. First look, Wang Yang did not find anything special about the Supreme Mage, he looked ordinary. However, he quickly realized that the Supreme Mage may be more powerful than he imagined. This may be the legendary return to basics. So in his eyes, he didn't even see it at first glance. This is simply unbelievable. At the moment, Wang Yang walked over with respect and excitement, and then bowed to the Supreme Master. I have seen the Supreme Mage. No need to be polite, sit down. Ji Yuyi spoke very gently. Wang Yang nodded and sat aside. I heard Mordo and the others say, "Are you a genius?" Ji Yuyi smiled slightly, looked at Wang Yang and said, "It's just that the archmages praised me wrongly. I'm just an ordinary mage." Wang Yang said modestly, "Compared with the Supreme Mage, his genius is limited." Regarding Wang Yang's attitude, Ji Yuyi nodded with satisfaction and said, "Yes, as they said, very humble." Seeing Ji Yuyi's polite appearance, Wang Yang gradually relaxed. Then, like a teacher testing students, Ji Yuyi started to ask Wang Yang some magic questions. Wang Yang answered these questions almost perfectly. Yes, Wang Yang, your mastery of the basics of magic is more solid than I thought. It's not bad for your age." Ji Yuyi smiled and nodded. In fact, Ji Yuyi couldn't help but feel a little turbulent towards Wang Yang. This is already very good, very good. I am afraid that many archmages will not necessarily have a solid grasp of this kid. The Supreme Master is wrong. I just listened to what the Archmaster said. Only with a solid foundation can a high-rise building be built on the ground. Wang Yang said modestly. Ji Yuyi smiled and shook his head and said, "Okay, since you have a solid foundation, you can now demonstrate your magic. Let me see how it goes." "Okay, Supreme Mage." Wang Yang nodded, then got up and stood aside. There were words in his mouth, and then a fiery red long sword appeared in his hand. The sacred sword of Emperor Weishan. It's not the first time Ji Yuyi has seen it, but when he was in battle, he was watching from a distance, but now he is so close. Even she was surprised by Wang Yang's magic. Stable rune arrangement, clear law aura, powerful magic fluctuations. Where is this magic that a young man can master? I am afraid that even an archmage who is immersed in this way can only do this. Ji Yuyi couldn't help being a little surprised. This kid is better than when she saw it. Even better than Strange she saw. He didn't think Strange could master a high-level magic to this level in a few months. Not to mention, she also saw Wang Yang's excellent performance on the battlefield with her own eyes. This kind of talent may not be comparable to Strange. But she couldn't help but be surprised. Where did Wang Yang come from? You must know that she can use the time gem to see all kinds of situations. But there are thousands of possibilities, and it may change at any time because of small changes. It seemed that she didn't see it, and there was no surprise. Now it's just a genius. This genius is only slightly more powerful. But this is a good thing for Kamatage. But thinking of Cassius, Ji Yuyi was silent for a while, and folded his hands towards his chest. The eye of Agamotto slowly opened, and the time gem radiated light. Then a strange light enveloped it. Ji Yuyi immersed himself in it, exploring Wang Yang's future. However, the next moment, the radiant hill of the eye of Agamotto, and the Supreme Mage showed a strange color. Can't detect it. How is it possible? You must know that anyone can have a lot of development, but the Wang Yang in front of him doesn't seem to belong to this world, so the rules of this world can't detect this person's future at all. After she became the Supreme Mage, such a thing has never happened in so many years. In the Kamatage, almost no one can escape the detection of the eye of Agamotto. However, Wang Yang, who appeared in front of him now, is really an anomaly. However, as long as such a person does not go astray, it is not a bad thing for Kamatage. Wang Yang, your talent is very good, I will teach you the next teaching. Ji Yuyi said. Thank you Supreme Mage. Wang Yang said respectfully. You come with me. Ji Yuyi put down the teacup, got up and walked to a nearby training ground. I know Cassius has approached you, right? Ji Yuyi stopped and looked at Wang Yang. Yes, Wang Yang didn't hide anything. For Ji Yuyi, who owns the time stone, he couldn't hide anything about him. Rather than being told directly, it is better to admit it yourself. You didn't leave with him, it has already proved that you care about Kamatage, and with this credit, I can teach you top-level magic. Wang Yang originally thought that Ji Yuyi had something to say, and might not easily teach him powerful magic, but he never thought that Ji Yuyi would teach him top-level magic without the slightest hesitation. After all, Cassius' betrayal came first, and he should be more careful when teaching others magic. But Ji Yuyi didn't do that. Wang Yang was excited. The first magic I taught you. Shield of Seraphim. Ji Yuyi didn't think too much, but said directly. Hearing this, Wang Yang's eyes lit up. It turned out to be this one, the Seraphine Shield, known as one of the most powerful magics of Kamatage. Wang Yang had long wanted to learn, but unfortunately he didn't have the chance. Thank you for the teaching of the Supreme Master. You're welcome, you can watch carefully and understand carefully. If you have any questions, you can ask. Ji Yuyi waved his hand and started explaining the spell. As he spoke, he began to cast magic. With a flick of his hands, countless magical runes began to condense. A huge golden shield condensed and appeared in front of Ji Yuyi. Then wrap it up, and countless golden magic runes condense. A powerful defensive force emerged spontaneously. Ding! Detected the magic Seraphine Shield talent fragment, whether it is fused. Fusion. With the fusion of magical talents, a wave of magical knowledge filled Wang Yang's mind. The light in Wang Yang's eyes flickered, and it quickly merged with his own knowledge. Further understanding of magic. Ji Yuyi also saw Wang Yang staring at the magic she cast, and nodded with satisfaction. Immediately after he raised his hand and waved, the magical shield of Seraphim disintegrated into a little golden light. Ji Yuyi looked at Wang Yang and said, Okay, I've already demonstrated the shield of Seraphim, let's see how far you can comprehend it. Hearing Ji Yuyi's words, Wang Yang nodded seriously. Yes, if there is anything you don't understand, you can ask now. Ji Yu nodded. Considering Wang Yang's talent, it is very rare to study magic so seriously. I want to try it first to see if I can cast the shield of Seraphim. Wang Yang thought about it for a while and then said so. You give it a try. Ji Yu nodded a little. After all, only after trying will he understand where he still can't learn. Where is the problem? Wang Yang took a step and started to cast in the same way as the Ancient One. A powerful magic condensed in his hands, and as his spell unfolded, countless magic runes condensed at this moment, and then a golden magic shield condensed in front of him, and then the magic shield spread, covering him in an instant. Ji Yuyi was not surprised when he saw Wang Yang condensing the magic shield, because the front was similar to the magic shield, but expanded, but it was extremely difficult to spread the package. However, Wang Yang did it easily. This made Ji Yuyi's eyes flash with surprise. Although she had already seen this genius, it was a little incredible that Wang Yang could easily use it now. Is this a genius? And she could feel that the magic that Wang Yang performed was not simple, and even gave him a very special feeling, as if these magics had vitality. And Wang Yang is different from the geniuses she taught before. Even if other geniuses are listening, it will take a while to master it, but it is incredible that Wang Yang can easily learn this magic. She believed that Strange, the most powerful genius she had ever seen, might not be able to do this. Ding! The fusion magic talent is too powerful, triggering the magic advancement. Is it advanced? The hierarchy of magic is not too clear. There is even a saying that the person who uses magic is stronger, and the magic that he casts will be even stronger. But there is no doubt that if the magic level is already strong, the power of this magic will be even stronger. Yes, it is possible to improve magic, which is a rare opportunity for Wang Yang. As Wang Yang decided to improve his magic, the whole magic changed accordingly. Some red lines began to gather. On the original magic shield, 3 pairs of angel wings appeared. A powerful magical aura emanated from it. Wang Yang could clearly feel that the power of the magic seraphim shield he cast was several times stronger. If at first it could only resist the attack of the Chidori landing ship, now it can also resist the powerful attack of the mothership. And Ji Yuyi's eyes widened. Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com. She knew that Wang Yang's talent was powerful, so even if she successfully cast the Shield of Seraphim, she was only a little surprised, but now Wang Yang's magic has changed. This is no longer top-level magic, but magic that touches the gods. Magic that real gods can cast, not like they just borrow the power of gods. Ji Yuyi absorbed the power of darkness and strengthened himself. He has not gathered such power for so many years. This made Ji Yuyi couldn't help reaching out and touching. Indeed, this is the power of a powerful divine law. This is the basic rule of the universe, and it is also the foundation of the power of the gods. Unless the power of the same level, otherwise, there is no way to change such power. Even if she wants to destroy it, she needs some strength. But this is simply unbelievable. Wang Yang can actually use such powerful magic. It was simply unbelievable. Is this the real genius in the world? Ji Yuyi's mood also fluctuated. She has also lived for hundreds of years. She is powerful, and she has seen a lot of what happens in the universe. It can be said that there are not many things that can surprise her. But today, I have to say, she was shocked. Actually, someone can perceive the magic of the gods in the top magic. I'm afraid there aren't many even in the entire universe. The way she looked at Wang Yang changed. You are surprising, and your talent is indeed very powerful, Ji Yuyi said with emotion. Wang Yang smiled slightly, and when he was about to say a few words of humility, Modu came over. At this moment, Mordo's expression was a little hurried. Supreme Mage, someone is asking to see you outside. Modu first nodded with Wang Yang before speaking. The Supreme Mage nodded, as if he had expected it a long time ago. I know. The Supreme Mage is just an ordinary person. Seeing that the Supreme Mage was in a hurry, Mordo said with a frown. I know. Ji Yu nodded, looked at Wang Yang and said, are you interested in meeting someone with me? A person appeared in Wang Yang's mind. Strange. Of course I'm interested. Wang Yang nodded and said. Ji Yuyi walked in front, with the two of them. Modu, Wang Yang did a good job this time. What do you think of his strength? Ji Yuyi asked. Supreme Mage, Wang Yang did a really good job this time, and his strength is almost the same as that of the Grand Mage. Modu's evaluation of Wang Yang is very pertinent and honest. Okay, then what do you think if I promote him to Archmage by exception? Ji Yuyi smiled and said calmly. You can go from apprentice to master, which is almost unprecedented in Kamatage. To be able to ask the Supreme Master to personally propose an exceptional promotion, it can be seen that the Supreme Master has fully recognized Wang Yang. This caused a storm in Mordo's heart, but Mordo didn't show it. After all, Wang Yang's talent may be the only one he has ever seen in his life. After arranging his thoughts, Modu said, I have no opinion on the Supreme Mage's decision. Wang Yang's strength and contribution to dealing with the alien invasion this time are unprecedented. I don't think there is any problem with the problem of extraordinary promotion. When Ji Yuyi heard Moro's words, he nodded, looking very satisfied. But Wang Yang was a little hesitant when he heard the decision of the two. Supreme Master, I'm still young, I'm afraid that if I really make such a decision, I won't be able to convince the public. It's not unreasonable. Ji Yu nodded, and then said, then let's become a trainee master first. As for Ji Yuyi's decision, Mordo would naturally have no opinion. But is there any difference between an internship and no internship? In Wang Yang's view, there doesn't seem to be much difference. Seemingly seeing the doubts in Wang Yang's heart, Modu said with a smile, maybe it means that he has less actual rights than a real archmage. Wang Yang couldn't help but smile when he heard the words. The actual right that may be done is actually the right to lead people. Naturally, an intern can't take people out to fight. For Wang Yang, he wished he could fight alone. Only. Supreme Master, I'm still too young, I haven't come to Kamatage for a long time, because I haven't made much contribution, I'm afraid it's not suitable. Wang Yang spoke hesitantly. We Kamatage will never look at a person's age. There is an old saying on your side, that is, the master is the teacher. And we Kamatage have always only valued the ability of one person. In addition, your performance on the battlefield, I believe that many people see it, and you should also see their respect for you. These are enough to prove that you are qualified for this position. Ji Yuyi said calmly. In fact, Wang Yang naturally understands these things, otherwise Dr. Strange would not be able to easily replace Ji Yuyi as the Supreme Mage. He said that he just wanted him to be able to practice quietly. What is the benefit of an archmage, and what is the use of it? Mordo also added a sentence at this time. You don't have to be in a hurry to be happy. Although you have become a trainee master, don't be proud and complacent. When Wang Yang heard Modu's words, he even smiled bitterly. He wasn't happy at all, wasn't he? Actually, I want you to become an archmage, and I also want to train you. Ji Yuyi said calmly. You also know that the earth has been a little chaotic recently. I believe this time the Chidori invasion is just the beginning. Hearing Ji Yuyi's words, Wang Yang couldn't help but get serious. Although he doesn't have Ji Yuyi's time gem, but he came from across the country, he naturally knows what will happen in the future. And Ji Yuyi also knew, maybe even knew the scene when Thanos snapped his fingers. Naturally, you know how big the test will be for the Earth. Supreme Mage, if there is anything for me to do, you tell me. Wang Yang said seriously. It's nothing major, I need you to teach a disciple with Mordo. Ji Yuyi said with a twist. Mordo, who was beside him, couldn't help but look surprised. This is also a kind of trust from the Supreme Master, and it is also cultivated. It can be seen that the Supreme Master is very optimistic about Wang Yang, and has even trained Wang Yang as his heir. He studied for more than 10 years before he was favored by the Supreme Master. Looking at Wang Yang again, Modu couldn't help but sigh. People are more angry than people. Wang Yang did not think so much as Modu thought. Let him take his apprentice. Supreme Master, I can't do it, I have no experience. Wang Yang smiled wryly, he just wanted to learn magic by himself, and didn't want to teach anyone. Don't worry, I won't let you teach alone but let you and Mordo together, Mordo is the master, you can help. Ji Yuyi turned his head and smiled slightly. Modu also smiled, his eyes full of envy. In Kamatage, everyone has to teach their disciples, even the Supreme Master is no exception. The Archmage of Kamatage, who has never been a teacher. It's just that it's a little difficult to become their disciple. Now let Wang Yang teach the disciples together with him. This is a kind of training, which shows that the Supreme Master attaches great importance to Wang Yang. I don't know who the Supreme Master asked us to teach now. Mordo was a little curious and could ask the Supreme Master to let them teach together. Although it is said to be a kind of training for Wang Yang, there is no doubt that it is also the importance of that person. Wang Yang already had the answer in his heart. Sure enough, the Supreme Mage said slowly, Stephen Strange. Stephen Strange, who is he? Mordo looked puzzled. Wang Yang couldn't help but smile bitterly, this Strange was a very arrogant person before he became a mage. He has been a genius almost all his life. It's the one who asked to see him. The Supreme Mage said with a smile. It's him. Mordo shook his head and said, this person is a little arrogant. Even though Mordo has only met Strange a few times, he has already seen through Strange. Ji Yuyi naturally has Strange's character flaws, but unlike Cassius, Strange will not fall into darkness. Of course, the first step is to make Strange understand that he is not the most powerful genius. Strange will study hard with a peaceful mind. We should go see him. After Ji Yuyi finished speaking, he raised his hand and waved, and the entire space began to undergo huge changes. Modu and Wang Yang couldn't help but wonder secretly, this is the strength of the Supreme Mage. As the space changes, the surrounding becomes a room, and at the same time, a person also walks in. It was Strange who was in a car accident and could no longer use his hands flexibly. As soon as Strange came in, he saw the 3 people in front of him. Excuse me, which one is Master Ji Yuyi? Modu said, this is Master Ji Yuyi. Wang Yang was also looking at Strange at this time, and his eyes were on Strange. At this time, Strange was very embarrassed. His hands were trembling, his steps were staggering, his beard was unshaven, and he looked like a homeless man. Ji Yuyi handed him a cup of tea, and he quickly held it in his hands, as if a destitute man had met hope. You once cured a man named Jonathan Pangborn, who was a paralyzed patient. Strange looked at Ji Yuyi and said expectantly, that was his only hope now. After there is no possibility of treatment, he can only believe in the mysterious and unknown. And Jonathan Pangborn is a case of science that cannot be cured, but now he can live a normal life and even play basketball. It is a miracle of science. That's right. Ji Yuyi smiled noncommittally and said. How did you treat the spinal injuries of the 7 necks, 8th and 2 segments of the neck? Strange then asked. He can't walk anymore, I just convince him that his legs can walk again. Ji Yuyi calmly brewed tea beside him. You won't tell me, this is a psychotherapy. Strange said somewhat incredulously, this was his only chance. When you connect your nerves, you heal yourself, and you heal yourself. Ji Yuyi said mysteriously. You mean cell regeneration? Strange was a little incredulous, and then said, did you develop a method for cell regeneration here? So you want to study it here? Because there is no supervision by a medical association. Strange couldn't understand other mysterious ways, and could only explain everything that happened in the way he understood. No, Mr. Strange, I know how to convince the soul to heal the body better. Ji Yuyi said with a smile. It's ridiculous, it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. I went bankrupt and bought a one-way ticket, but you told me that I need to use faith to heal my illness. Strange could not imagine that he used to advocate science and used scientific methods to cure countless people, especially those relatively special cases. Even if it was his own injury, he was confident that if it was his former self, he could also be cured. But now, he has no choice and no one can help him. He couldn't even imagine how faith could heal him. Impossible, Mr. Strange, now the truth is in front of you, beyond your imagination, yet you refuse to accept the truth. Ji Yuyi said with a smile. Okay, I'm leaving. Strange didn't believe that the bald woman in front of him was like the head of a cult. Ji Yuyi put down the glass and approached Strange. Just as Strange turned around and left, Ji Yuyi slapped it with a palm, and Strange only felt that he was detached from his body. Looking at his body, looking at this scene, Mordo sighed in his heart. And Wang Yang was also a little surprised. Ding! Detected the magic talent fragments, whether they are fused. Wang Yang was taken aback for a moment, but after thinking about it, he already understood. These talent fragments are the understanding of magic, which is equivalent to the Ancient One's understanding and application of magic. Fusion. Wang Yang merged the fragments of talent, and realized Ji Yuyi's understanding and perception of magic. Strange looked at his hands as he floated away from his body. The next moment, as Ji Yu retracted his palm, Strange felt himself returning to his body again. What have you done? Strange said in disbelief. I just pushed your soul out of this body. Ji Yuyi said calmly. But Strange would not believe it at all. He firmly believed that human beings are made of matter and have no soul at all. What did you put in the tea? Ecstasy. After all, in this strange country, he couldn't imagine that his soul could leave his body. It's just tea. Then Ji Yuyi added, add a little honey. Then what happened just now? Strange couldn't imagine what happened just now. Ji Yuyi explained, at that moment, you entered a world of souls. What? It's where the soul escapes from the body. Why are you doing this to me? Strange couldn't explain what happened just now with his current knowledge. He didn't believe what Ji Yuyi said. Ji Yuyi shook his head and said, tell you, there are too many unknowns. Saying that, Ji Yuyi grabbed Strange's head and pressed his thumb between Strange's eyebrows. Open your eyes. In an instant, Strange seemed to have fallen into an unknown field. He saw butterflies in outer space, countless dazzling rays of light. Mordo watched Strange fall into space and said, his body can't take it. Then Strange saw Ji Yuyi again. I think he's pretty good. Ji Yuyi smiled and looked at Strange, and then Strange entered another fantasy world again. Ji Yuyi's voice sounded in his ear, you think in Xiao's world is running. You think the physical universe is everything. What do you think is true? What secrets are hidden behind what you know? At the source of reality, spirit is connected to matter. Thoughts sculpt reality. This universe is just one of the infinite universes. The world is infinite. Who are you, in this multiverse, Mr. Strange? Bang! Strange fell directly from the chair and hit the ground. I hope you've seen these in the gift shop too. Strange looked at his hands and recalled what had just happened. His 3 views for so many years had collapsed. Teach me. Do not. Ji Yuyi rejected him outright, and asked Mordo to throw him out. Wait a while and bring him back. At that time, he can calm down and study hard. Ji Yuyi turned to look at Modu and Wang Yang. Modu and Wang Yang nodded. After waiting for a day, Mordo opened the door and let Strange, who had been waiting outside, come in and made arrangements. Strange finally entered the Karmatage. A few days later, Mordo took Wang Yang to start teaching Strange. Early in the morning, they found Strange. After a few days, Strange got used to a lot at Karmatage. At least it was much calmer than before. Followed Modu and Wang Yang to the training ground. Seeing the two stop, Strange looked at him and said, Mage Mordo, this one looks relatively young, why don't you teach me? After all, Wang Yang is really young. For Strange, the amount of experience he has, also means age. At this time, Wang Yang in front of him looked like a handsome college student. Wang Yang looked at Strange and had to say that even now, Strange still brought his self-confidence and arrogance in the world here. In the world, Strange is a famous doctor who has conquered countless neurological diseases. Naturally, he wouldn't trust someone younger than himself. Wang Yang, show him the magic and make Strange feel at ease. Mordo couldn't help but smile. After all, I'm afraid no one in Kamatage would doubt Wang Yang's ability. Wang Yang shrugged and walked out without speaking. When he raised his hand, a formation appeared in front of him, and at the same time, a chain spread directly from the formation, and countless magic runes emerged as part of the chain. Strange was entangled in an instant. Strange was powerless to struggle at all, looking at this scene with horror. Is it okay now? Wang Yang said calmly. This is an incredible power. Strange said with emotion. Then the chains that wrapped around him collapsed and dissipated in an instant. Strange looked at Wang Yang in disbelief and said, "How did you do this?" You need to concentrate. Since you can enter Kamatage, it means that you are very talented. Focus your mind, and believe that you can feel the energy of the multiverse and use this power. Mordo said slowly from the side. Oh, then what should I do? Strange frowned. You need to use your limbs to feel the energies of the multiverse so you can harness them. If your spiritual power is strong enough, you don't need to use your limbs at all. Mordo calmly taught. Wang Yang just stood aside and looked at Strange calmly, the future Dr. Strange, like a newbie doing basic training. For an ordinary person, it is difficult to concentrate one's own mental power and absorb the energy of the multiverse. And wield those powers. Compared to Strange, there is actually no need to do so. Because in terms of talent, Strange is very powerful, and he has learned most of the magic in a short period of time, even advanced magic. This also corroborates the Supreme Mage's view of Dr. Strange. What should I do? Strange said with some doubts. Mordo thought for a while and said, concentrate your mind, and then control your power. Using your limbs, your hands will also become an extension of your will. Wang Yang, give him a demonstration. Wang Yang heard the words, nodded, and walked out. The hands trembled. A red magic shield appeared in front of his hands. Strange watched this scene and couldn't help scratching his hair. How did you do it? And the golden chain that bound me just now? Strange is just an ordinary person now, and he has only just accepted these magics. A few days ago, for Strange, the world was made of matter, pure materialism. Anything can be explained by science, but now everything is beyond his scope. Even if he saw everything Ji Yuyi showed him, he couldn't accept it for a while. This is really unscientific. Strange frowned. Science, what's not scientific? Mordo said with a smile. Science is based on a system of cognition that can detect explanations and predict and order knowledge of the form and organization of objective things. It is knowledge that has been systemized, and magic is also a part of science. Science is not just about physics and chemistry. As long as it is part of the knowledge that human beings can master, it can become part of science. Why isn't magic part of science? It's prejudice. Strange. What Strange said was a little bit at a loss. Wang Yang, who was standing beside him, couldn't help but sigh. This is where the fabled end of science is theology. And Mordo went on to say, in fact, we have a clear understanding of magic. We all understand the energy of the universe and how to use it. If you want to use these powers, you must use your spirit, feel it, control it, and borrow it. We are not the owners of power, but users. Use your hands and your spirit to feel and drive. Wang Yang looked at Strange from the side. Strange was puzzled when he heard Mordo's words. This is really nonsense. I can't do it at all, it's too illusory. Strange also tried to draw circles in the sky. Unfortunately, there were no sparks, and even if there were, it was only a little bit. It must be my hand can't do this at all. Strange looked at his trembling hands that left the scars of the surgery. Actually, as long as you concentrate, your body is not too important for a mage. Wang Yang shook his head and said. After Strange heard this, he looked at Wang Yang in confusion. Modu also looked at Wang Yang. I saw Wang Yang carrying his hands behind his back, and then, a red line appeared in front of him. A red shield appeared in front of him. Then the shield changed shape, and countless patterns appeared. Seeing this scene, Strange's eyes could not help but straighten. In fact, not only Strange, but also Mordo's eyes were already straight, looking straight at Wang Yang. Although it has long been known that Wang Yang is a genius, as he said, both hands are the outreach of the spirit, so most mages use their hands to cast them. I am afraid that only a talent like the Supreme Mage does not need to borrow such a powerful talent. How did you do this? Strange looked at this scene in surprise. It's very simple, as long as you can concentrate, get rid of distracting thoughts, sense the energy of the wireless universe, and use the energy of the universe. Wang Yang then added, it's very simple. He seemed to be saying a very simple, very common thing. Just like eating and drinking. Moro's eyes twitched. I can't do this, can you tell me it's easy? For Mordo or ordinary mages, it is not easy at all, and even extremely difficult, otherwise, the mages of Kamatage would not need to use so many actions to assist. But for Wang Yanglai, all magic is performed like eating and drinking. Naturally, it was much simpler for him. And abandon all distracting thoughts, concentrate all the spirit, it seems simple, but it is really so simple to do. Mordo couldn't do it anyway. And Wang Yang went on to say, Strange, since you are favored by the Supreme Mage, it shouldn't be difficult for you to do such a simple thing. Wang Yang glanced at Strange. As soon as the words fell, the shield in front of Wang Yang divided, and even countless weapons appeared. These changes were simply left to Wang Yang's control. Strange's mouth twitched involuntarily. Looking at Wang Yang's relaxed face, he didn't bother at all. Modu couldn't help feeling complicated, and he felt that he was inferior to others. It doesn't feel much better than Strange. Just a common magic, you can come up with so many tricks, and let the apprentice Strange do it, and you say it's very simple. Is this something ordinary people can do? Strange is a normal person. Are you an ordinary person? Mordo smiled bitterly in his heart. At this time, Strange couldn't help looking at Mordo, and said with a trembling voice, Mage Mordo, can you use magic like this? Hearing Strange's words, Mordo's eyes twitched. It would be a shame if he tried it. Did he lose face as an archmage? With a dry cough, he continued to maintain a proud look on his face and said, I don't need to use it. Wang Yang is my apprentice. As you can see, he can use it easily. Strange was heartbroken. In the past, whether it was in study or in his own field, he could have absolute confidence. So he thinks he is a genius, but in Kamatage he feels very ordinary. Especially according to these two mages, the magic in the beginning should be very simple and easy to learn. However, he really couldn't understand how magic works. Even the mage in front of him can cast it without using his hands. But he couldn't do it with his hands. Is the difference that big? Strange fell into deep self-doubt. Of course, he never thought about whether what these two mages said was true. After all, people can really show it. But he couldn't do it. What was the situation? So for the next few days, Strange was really depressed. Even if I try every day, I still can't do it. This day he came to the training ground again. And Modu and Wang Yang have been waiting here for a long time. How is it? Strange, have you mastered the magic shield? Seeing Strange coming over, Mordo said with a gentle smile. He finally met an ordinary person who was not as terrifying as Wang Yang. Sorry, Master Mordo, I still can't grasp it. Strange said very frustratedly. It's nothing, just keep working hard. What you have to do now is to concentrate, forget all distractions, and focus your attention. Only in this way can you control and feel that cosmic energy. Mordo continued. Strange couldn't help sighing, he'd heard this no less than 10 times. But it just can't be done. This is the kind of thing that is very clear to say, but when he wants to do it, it is extremely difficult for him to come. Strange even thought he might never be able to do it in his life. This made him feel very bad and depressed, and Strange started to practice every day. Wang Yang and Modu stood aside and looked at him. The two were talking quietly. It even condensed a magic circle that Strange couldn't detect, isolating them. Wang Yang, when do you think he will be able to learn the basic magic shield? Wang Yang shook his head and said, I don't think he can learn it in a short period of time. Strange believes in what he used to believe, and I'm afraid it will be difficult to change, not to mention that his hands have become what they are now. In this way, it is even more difficult for him to concentrate. If it continues like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to master it for a few years. Wang Yang shook his head and said, "Then what shall we do?" Mordo frowned, and then said, "If it really takes so long, it will undoubtedly be a waste of his talent. We have tried to get him to open the portal and the magic shield." Wang Yang went on to say, "There's only that way that he can quickly master it." Hearing Wang Yang's words, Modu said in surprise, "What can I do?" "Don't hide your secrets at this time. It's very simple. Throw him on Mount Everest. Under the crisis of life and death, he will soon stimulate his potential." Wang Yang said with a smile. This method is also the method used by Koichi in the movie Yu reading. And this method is estimated to be the fastest and most effective. "No, it's too dangerous." Mordo shook his head and said, "And Kamatage has never done this before. The key is that even if he does, he may not be able to master it. When he is near death, he may give up induction magic completely." For this approach, Mordo does not agree. However, after seeing the success of Ji Yuyi, Wang Yang is still very confident in doing so. "How do you know if you don't try? Besides, we are all here, and he won't have any problems." Wang Yang said with a smile. "No, this is outrageous. We teach apprentices how to use this method." Mordo shook his head, firmly opposed. "Mage Mordo, strange is different." Wang Yang continued. "Besides, it's okay to give it a try. With us, we can save him when he is completely in danger. Since there is no danger, why not give it a try? If Strange is delayed, it will undoubtedly be the greatest irresponsibility for his talent." Hearing Wang Yang's words, Modu couldn't help but hesitate. He was indeed touched by Wang Yang's words. He was responsible for Strange. "Well, we can try, but we must also ensure his safety." Mordo said. "Don't worry, Master Mordo, I know it." With that said, Wang Yang stepped forward and said, "Strange, don't practice for now, I'll take you to a place." Strange looked puzzled and said, "Where?" "Don't ask, just follow me and you'll know." I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.